See with breaking news from ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. Clippers guard Paul George diagnosed with a sprained knee sustained last night. He'll be out at least a couple of weeks. He's one of two players LA cannot afford to be without for an extended period of time, believes First Take host Stephen A. Smith.
Paul George with Kawhi Leonard. When one of them is missing, all right, and in this case it's Paul George, it just seems like all their hopes just plummet. You would like to believe that one of them could hold down the fort to get you beyond the play-in, to get you to the first round, even beyond the first round. But I don't look at this Clippers team as being that kind of team that can pull that off.
Grizzlies point guard John Morant's expected to return tonight versus the Rockets. He's back with the team after completing an 8-game suspension from the NBA for conduct detrimental to the league. Dallas's Luka Doncic upgraded to probable tonight against the Warriors. 7 Eastern, ESPN Radio and ESPN TV. Kyrie Irving, meantime, questionable for the Mavericks. Timberwolves forward Karl Anthony Towns told ESPN's Ramona Shelburne he plans to return from a calf strain against the Hawks tonight.
If you need to hire, then you need Indeed. The all-in-one hiring platform helps you schedule and conduct video interviews right from your employer dashboard. Finding your next great hire has never been more streamlined. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
In the heart of Beer City, USA, two men, one journey to create a sports show unlike any other. Unfiltered, raw, and honest. One of them played a soccer goalie opposite Ben Stiller. The other once scored 6 points on Steph Curry. These guys know their shit.
Let's go!
Tank Spencer, Jeremy Greene, The Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings. And Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy coming to you live from the Ingles Studio. We are heard everywhere around the world, anywhere you go on the iHeartRadio app, and we can be seen on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click that live video link, subscribe to the channel, share it out with your friends. We got team-by-team, 3-round mock draft content coming out here over the next couple of days, so you're not going to want to miss it because this is your one-stop shop for all things Draftmas season.
Oh, Draftmas tree, how lovely are thy prospects.
Flostradamus Jeremy Greene puts on his thinking cap for us each and every day to give us the inside scoop, the three-dimensional chess breakdown of what all teams are going to do in the NFL draft. And he is, well, I mean, that's why he goes by at ESPN Draft Nerd on the Twitter machine. And today we're going to start with some pre-draft rankings of all of the prospects here. So, you know what? I feel like we've done enough pitter-patter here. Let's get into it. Time for the opening drive, and it's always brought to you by Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville. Go to 629 Brevard Road. Check out the showroom, or you can go online. Hook up with them there as well, AndersonNissan.com. And mention the Sportsocracy when you go by there to get a brand new car or a certified pre-owned, because why wouldn't you? We're customers of Fred Anderson Nissan, and you should be too.
We're members of the family, and you can do the same. I am in a 2023 Pro 4X Nissan Titan that's blacked out and beautiful and wonderful. And I played the fun game of when I walked out of my house, because I park quite a ways from my front door. I started the car. By the time I got there, heated steering wheel, heated seats. Everything was nice and lovely this morning, in spite of the fact it was rainy and gross and Western North Carolina-like. And you can do the same by calling them, setting up your test drive today at 629 Brevard Road. Tell them the formerly fat guys of the Sportsocracy sent you.
And my 2017 Rogue is not that bougie.
I'm all the bougie.
But the thing I love about Fred Anderson Nissan is that they keep me on schedule. I'm a bad car owner, if you don't know. I don't know anything about cars. And when it comes to getting your oil changed, getting your tires rotated, all of that, I have the Fred Anderson family plan. And it tells me when I'm supposed to do all of those things. I absolutely love it.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not the most put-together gent either. I walked out of my house this morning in a hurry. So we're having a wedding for John Roten here on Friday, which I'm the videographer for. So I overslept just a bit, and then I put my hair up as I was walking out the door, and for the first half of the day, I had a sweet little rat tail that nobody felt the urge to tell me that I.
Nope.
But why is there one strand of your hair that has just gone completely rogue?
We figured if you went down the mullet path, why not? He's gonna go actually forward in the hairstyle time capsule to the early 1990s and go full rat tail.
And I went full rat tail coming out of a man bun. Boom! Modern problems require modern solutions. Let's go.
That's the haircut that he was supposed to get for the wedding. It is the Sportsocracy, and let's see, we've got we've got trade talks all over the place. D-Hop, Jerry Jeudy, Jonah Williams wanting out of Cincinnati, wanting to be a left tackle somewhere.
There's a lot of posturing happening. Here's what I would tell Jonah Williams. And yes, I'm trying to put negativity into the air so that my Jets don't trade for him.
Please let that happen.
I would love to have
Lord, I don't ask for much, but please let that happen.
I would love to have a date with all of the Spice Girls at the same time, but we don't always get what we want, do we?
I mean, look, I feel like if I have to put up with Baker Mayfield as my quarterback, you at least have to put up with Jonah Williams as your tackle.
No.
You
had your time of happiness, and now it has descended upon the era of sadness.
Jeremy Greene, he provides us with the latest and the greatest in all Draftmas content, and so today we're going to start with our top 13s. We do this each and every year for the Draftmas season. Top 13 prospects, because that's Jeremy's favorite number.
That was my number. It's tattooed all over my body, so name's on the door. We go 13.
Top 13 quarterbacks in this 2023 NFL draft class coming up for you in the 4 o'clock hour today. We're also going to be talking quarterbacks in the daily draft, where we'll be looking at the best prospects of the last 5 years.
This is something I get asked a lot, so we figured today, because this is quarterback-a-palooza, we're going to take the 4 high-end draft-eligible prospects this year. And Tank and I are going to draft them against the best prospects of this year and the 5 previous years. That'll give you a little bit of a context of where these guys are in the lexicon of the last few years of prospects.
We've got pro days going on in college football. You had C.J. Stroud's pro day today at Ohio State.
Oh, you had Cam Newton's, where he threw one just absolute bomb.
Strikingly looked a lot like Zach Wilson's highlight tape from his pro day.
I hate pro days so much. Let me give you the best explanation of a pro day that I can. This is basically a scripted production.
Mm-hmm.
It's a play, if you will, that is 100% to make you look better. If you don't look good at a pro day, it's not going to go well for you. I've seen a few of those, but not many.
Mm-hmm.
Stop losing your mind over the pro day. If you're changing your mind based upon what's happening here, you're doing it wrong. Lisa Evansel's already asked us in the chat, is it true that no one from the Texans was represented at Stroud's pro day? I don't know that definitively, but I have been told that. Here would be my question. Why? Why would I go see C.J. Stroud? If the Houston Texans have the easiest draft night in the history of creation, all right, I got 2 names for you. Whichever one they don't say, you do. Card guy in Kansas City that has to walk our pick up to the podium.
But
just don't boo-boo this.
But will they go tomorrow and go see Bryce Young?
Probably, because that's the one that's more likely falls to them.
Okay. All right. I mean, there's,
we greatly overreact.
I feel like you want to, but you want to get in the room with these guys. You want to be seen. It's just the thing that franchises do. I mean, like today, I saw the story. The Carolina Panthers sent 11 freaking people to the Ohio State Pro Day to see C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, and let me be really honest with you. That's stupid. It is dumb to send that much of your. I mean, that's C.J. Stroud's going to one of the Carolina Panthers.
Yes.
You don't send that many guys to a pro day if you don't already know who it is. So C.J. Stroud goes 1. That's fine. He's not my number 1 quarterback in this class. He is 2. I think he's a solid 2. I've heard Chris Sims 1,000 times over the last 3 days. Well, that's C.J. Stroud's 1, and it's not even close. Yeah, you had Zach Wilson 1 too. Okay, so maybe that big Richard energy, maybe you could take that somewhere else.
It doesn't always go your way, but heck, I mean, you chuckled at me when I said at the start of this Draftmas season that I didn't think there was a big gap between CJ and Bryce to begin with.
I did. I still do. And nothing's and a big difference is it's relative. Will Levis is my 3. Will Levis is further away from C.J. Stroud than C.J. Stroud is from Bryce Young.
Yeah. We'll have more talk on the pro days coming up later on in the hour, but we got C.J. Stroud today. You got Bryce Young tomorrow, and then the next day is Will Levis.
Will Levis will put on an absolute show because he has a howitzer.
A howitzer.
I can't wait to see what a scripted Will Levis with no receivers workout looks like. It could rival Jamarcus Russell. And that's what I'm really curious of is, okay, so we've already seen – we saw the show for Anthony Richardson at the Combine because that steers into all the things he does. He ran the 40, did the vert, broad jump, all of those things. This panders to Will Levis a lot. And so is it possible that a team goes into that building and just absolutely falls in love with him? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The thing I can't figure out is who's the 4th team? All right, so we know Carolina's taking 1 at 1. We know Houston's taking 1 at 2. Don't believe this smoke that they could wait for a year. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I feel very sure Indianapolis is taking one of the 2 remaining at 4.
Yes.
I don't think they have to trade, but they might. Who's 4? Where does Will Levis go? I mean, is it Seattle? Is it Detroit? Is it the Raiders or Atlanta? I feel like it has to be one of those 4.
Yeah, and I feel like if I'm Seattle on the board at 5 and Will Levis is there for me to have, I don't know that I could say no to that.
I would run to the podium with my hair on fire. I will never get a shot at another quarterback this good, and I don't have to play him for 2 years.
Right, and I don't have to suck in order to get to that quarterback. That's the thing. Like, Seattle's good right now.
Mm-hmm.
Shocker of shockers, Seahawks fans everywhere just swallowed their gum hearing me say that. But Seattle's good now. You're not going to be picking back up here for a long time, probably.
I mean, and Pete Carroll came out and said that.
Mm-hmm. If there's a guy there, you have to take the risk. If it's Will Levis, let me throw that caveat in there, because if Anthony Richardson's on the board at 5, I don't know that I would do that. But there again, maybe they see something in him that they could turn his athleticism into a super positive in the Pete Carroll system.
5 years ago, I would have laughed at Anthony Richardson until I piddled in my pants. I was also dismissive of Lamar Jackson. I was dismissive of Jalen Hurts.
Mm-hmm.
I was dismissive of Tim Tebow.
Mm-hmm.
One of those
Justin
3 didn't
Fields.
work out. Justin Fields. The jury's still out on Justin Fields, okay? I mean, I'm getting a lot of Chicago Bears. Oh, that aged well. 5 and 11 called, or 5 and 12 called. Maybe calm down on that. You're making it really easy for me to make jokes.
Right.
But, I mean, you're at a point in the NFL where it's more than one way to drown a cat. You don't have to have this perfect stereotypical drop back passer. Jalen Hurts has a bad throwing motion. Justin Fields has one of the longest ones I've ever seen and stares down receivers. I would not personally want to have to go through this because now there is so much attention. It's not an irony that there's more eyeballs on the NFL draft right now than there's ever been before. There's more access. There's more people like us that have really good access and can tell you things that we hear. It's also the hardest time to draft a quarterback ever because the bust rate's never been higher. Ever. Why could that possibly be?
Desperation.
The first thing I said leads into the second thing I said. When I first started doing this, pro days were like the Zapruder film. If you got a veiny or a grainy, trying to say 2 words at the same time there, don't choke on your gum there, Seahawk fan. If you got a just terrible video, grainy video, combine them into 2 words, sorry.
We heard you.
You're 6 years old. Has anybody ever told you that? And that's coming from me. If you got a grainy video of a pro day, you were doing well. They were basically done behind closed doors. Nobody saw them. Now you can watch them on NFL Network. And that leads the average fan to go, oh, look at the arm on this guy. And you don't look at anything that falls into that territory. You're only looking at how good the arm is. That's it. I had news for you. Jamarcus Russell had the best arm I've ever seen. Not close, unequivocally, and Jake Locker's the only one that's even in the same ballpark. Tank's going to have a stroke.
I'm just trying not to maintain.
Oh, yeah, you're doing a great job.
Sports talkers.
Yeah, you're doing a great job.
I forget people can see me now.
Yeah. 3 years, and you
Holy
forget
cow,
people can see.
His head's going to explode.
Oh, he's actually just going to bust out laughing in the middle of the second. But after the break, there are things that go into the pro day that are important that you can't see. And I feel like it's my job to remind you of that, and we'll do that after the break.
It is the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Cleaning the inside of your house is easy, but the outside is where most people need a little help. WNC Wash Pros are the highest rated exterior cleaning company in North Carolina with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Whether you need your walkways pressure washed or the outside of the house scrubbed clean, we will kill all organic growth to preserve your paint and extend the life of your roof with our gentle and soft approach. Call us at 828-560-WASH or visit our website at WNCWashPros.com for a free estimate today.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Haley, quote, Navage is the best thing I bought. I love it. My nose feels so clear now and I can breathe. I've been struggling with a stuffy nose for weeks. I bought Navage and it's amazing. Or this one. I use Navage every night, could not imagine life without it. I have 5 cats, and before I found Navage, I was a clogged mess. Now I breathe so much better, unquote. Those are 2 of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Need weekend plans to get spring ready? Make Lowe's your weekend destination this spring with Weekending at Lowe's. Stop by for free activities and workshops, including our upcoming Raised Garden Bed Workshop. This month, we're celebrating with fun events like Springfest Egg Venture, where you can enjoy Easter treats for the whole family. Visit Lowe's.com/events for this month's full lineup. Count on Lowe's for all of your home improvement needs. And now, activities in your community with Weekending at Lowe's.
The Sportsocracy.
You were just dumping a bag of hammers.
And we're back in the Ingles Studio on ESPN Asheville.
Are you good now?
I'm good.
Did you get your animal cracker child and a juice box? And you're back to good now?
Yeah, I found the cookie in my pocket, and we're all good to go.
There we go.
Yeah, so we're talking pro days.
That one's not going on the highlight reel for me.
We're talking pro days here as C.J. Stroud, he was showing off his skills at his pro day at Ohio State today. The Carolina Panthers reportedly had 11 members of the front office and coaching staff in attendance. This is going to be their number 1 overall pick. I feel pretty certain about that.
Oh, I'm very sure that it's C.J. Stroud.
And I'm sitting here and I'm like, look, right now I'm staring at the television. ESPN is showing all of the highlights, the big throws that C.J. Stroud can make in his T-shirt and shorts. It's awesome. But is it really important to making a decision on drafting a guy?
The pro day is important for a handful of reasons. One, it's the first time you get real access to somebody in their environment and see them in a place that they're comfortable. The combine, it's a lot like a job interview. I mean, I've always compared it to that, and that's not really where I'm headed. How many times have you interviewed for a job where you walked out of it and went, I don't even remember what I just said. I said everything they wanted me to hear.
I said everything I wanted them to hear.
No, I meant that they wanted to hear. They asked me a question. They had an answer in mind, so I just regurgitated what they wanted.
Okay.
This is a little different because you're around people that know you. You're in a place that is familiar to you, not to them, and you're running this whole thing. So if it shows off what you do well, it shows that you have a modicum of self-awareness, and you know what teams are looking for. This is almost like what I've always said about drug tests. If you fail a drug test when you first get hired for a job, you're a moron because you know it's coming. And you know it unequivocally, and that's why employers give them, is if you can't get this right, we're going to have some issues. But the thing that always bothers me about the pro day, and I'll be honest with you, it's the thing that bothers me right now. So the thing that bothers me the most about where the Carolina Panthers are right now, what changed? What changed?
Well, I mean, you have the number one pick.
No. You had to go get that. You went to get that. That's a causation. Something changed in your brain, and C.J. Stroud hasn't taken one snap. I've literally seen every throw C.J. Stroud ever made in his life at Ohio State. I did not know a single person that had him as the number one quarterback on the board going into the draft season. What changed? That is what terrifies me about this, is that every time I've ever seen this happen, you wind up regretting who you didn't take it to.
Mm-hmm.
I said it throughout the entire bowl season. Bryce Young is the number one on every scout I've talked to's board, and it's not really all that close. I'm the only one that hasn't audibled off that. Well, Bryce Young's 5'10". So is Kyler Murray. Yeah, he got hurt on a non-contact play out of the pocket, and he doesn't take nearly as good a care of himself as Bryce Young does. If it's size, I guess okay, but you knew exactly how big Bryce Young was. So what's changed here? I mean, you go back and watch the tape. I got news for you. The same throw that I saw against Iowa, which was not a good tape, that tape's still there. Nothing has changed for me.
Maybe as they went more and more into the tape, they figured that size does matter.
I should have known that. I should have known that line was going to make it in this show at some point.
I was wondering if it was going to dawn on you.
It took me a minute, but I got it.
Maybe it is this. Maybe they are concerned that he is, that Bryce Young is a short little guy, and C.J. Stroud just checks all of the boxes. Like
But what are those boxes? What are those boxes? All right, in terms of size.
He's got the size. He's got the arm.
He's got the size. Yeah.
He put up accuracy numbers. Now you could say all you want to about the Ohio State system and the fact that Big Ten receivers, especially Ohio State receivers, are always wide open.
That is exactly what's bothering me here, is that throughout the entire process it was, well, we know what happens with Ohio State quarterbacks because there's not a lot of high-level tutelage that goes into these guys because that's not what Ryan Day's staff does. They have unbelievable receivers. There's a reason they sign the number one receiver in the class every single year because this is how that team is predicated. So what are you seeing now? That's what I can't wrap my brain around.
Did Frank Reich change the scenario? Did Frank Reich come in and say the only way that I will do this and I'll come in and take your job is if you let me have a chance at a quarterback?
Maybe.
And maybe he did.
I said that when he got hired. If there's a quarterback he wants. What I don't understand is Frank Reich didn't change the entire industry. And now every person I talk, well, I've been on C.J. Stroud the entire time. You do know how a text message works, right? Like, you know that you sent me a message that completely contradicts what you just said 6 weeks ago.
Right.
It's on top of the message you just sent me. I'm not one of those serial killers that deletes every text message I get. The further down this rabbit hole we're getting, the more uncomfortable with it I'm getting. Mm-hmm. This is like, well, of course, he checks the box of the size. And well, the tape's not closed. It's not. He has 2 high-level tapes in the 2 years he was at Ohio State. Mm-hmm. And one of them was against Georgia, which is where they lost.
Yeah, but it's still but I mean,
was it on him? No, I'm not saying it was.
Right, but I get that they lost that game, but they wouldn't have been in it had C.J. Stroud not thrown 6 touchdown passes in that game. 5
he was phenomenal.
Passes. He was incredible.
He was phenomenal.
That alone should be worth something. If C.J. Stroud had not been,
I'm really glad you said that way.
And I'm trying to lead you down this path here. So take a quarterback. Oh, here's a good one. Max Duggan. You are not a big fan of Max Duggan.
Don't have a draftable grade on him.
Decent college quarterback, whatever. If he had done a similar thing that C.J. Stroud did to Georgia in the national championship game, would you not have bumped his stock up because of that?
No.
It
doesn't change what he's done for 2 years. I mean, he wasn't the starter when Sonny Dykes took over. Mm-hmm. And I'll be honest with you, any team that takes Max Duggan in this draft in a round that doesn't start with a 7 should be immediately fired, because I cannot for the life of me figure out what you're saying. I have done this for a long time. I can give you a handful of quarterbacks that had unbelievable games on a national stage, and it changed the way everybody thought about them. You know what they all have in common?
What's that?
Every last one of them was a bust in the NFL. Because the biggest one I can think of is Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield was a late 1, early 2. He has that unbelievable game in the playoff against Georgia. Yeah. And everybody loses their mind, and now all of a sudden he's the one, and everybody loves him, and Cleveland's got to have him. He was a bust. Mm-hmm. He was a bust from day one because the tape never lit to what you saw. It didn't. And C.J. Stroud's in the exact same boat. There is a good amount of really good. There is another amount that is not NFL quarterback. And I just don't understand what this love affair is. I don't know if he's answering every question right. I have heard he is the most likable guy you will ever meet in your life. And that's awesome. So is Tank, and I don't want him to be my starting quarterback. You know why? Because the tape doesn't lend itself to that he can do that.
So at a pro day, it's more about talking to the guy?
You get a feel for who he is. If you're changing your mind based on what these guys do in shorts, you're not good at this. I mean, there's a reason that I know scouts in this league that won't attend them. I don't want anything that happens in a non-football environment to change how I view a guy. That's how you wind up with Jamarcus Russell. Because there was nothing he really did on a field that made you think that he was a high-level NFL quarterback. Then you see him throw throwing 75 yards in the air, and all of a sudden he's the quarterback I must have. And I want to caution Panther fans. I really hope that you're right. But this whole process has a really familiar ring to it. I've been going back through – this is where I start doing redrafts and regrades and things like that for the draft. And I'm reading notes that sound very familiar to what I'm seeing right now. They almost never end well. It's almost never, oh, yeah, we had this guy completely wrong for 2 years, and then we figured it out when he didn't take a snap. And so I feel like Bryce Young is the layup here, and he's going to fall right in the Houston Texans' lap.
All right. We got pro days. Pro day today for Ohio State and C.J. Stroud. Tomorrow is going to be Bryce Young in Alabama.
And tomorrow, I promise you, the narrative is going to be, well, look how little Bryce Young is and all of these things. And this is why we would be remiss to take him as the number one quarterback in the draft. You'll hear that from every national talking head you can turn your dial to. Mm-hmm. And every one of them, I'm going to sit back and go, tape doesn't say that.
Yeah. I agree. I have always agreed with you on Bryce. I felt like Bryce was the number one. And, it's like I've tried to tell my wife. I don't feel like in today's society and today's world that we live in, I don't believe the size matters all that much. You're in
He
the
couldn't wait to
Sportsocracy.
do it again.
Here
He
on
physically
ESPN
couldn't wait to do
Asheville.
it again.
92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. We'll get just a bit outside next.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Temperatures warming up for the end of the business week. Clouds decreasing here tonight as temperatures drop down into the middle part of the 40s. Mix of clouds and sunshine for us on Thursday. It'll be breezy and warmer. Middle to upper 70s tomorrow afternoon. Mix of clouds and sunshine Friday as temperatures top out around 80 in the afternoon. Chance of rain again Friday night into early Saturday. High Saturday, low 70s. Partly cloudy 70 for Sunday. I'm meteorologist Ken Boone at the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. If cold candidate calls aren't turning into hot hiring leads, then you need Indeed. Because Indeed's powerful hiring platform makes it easy to attract, screen, and interview candidates all from one place. Find your next great hire visiting Indeed.com/credit.
For more information about contests on the station, log on to ESPNAVL.com.
Lowe's MVP's bonus days are back for pros. Right now, buy a DeWalt 20-volt Max Power Stack Battery 2-pack at $199 and get a select DeWalt Bear tool free. Plus, earn 3 times the bonus points on all Metabo HPT tools and products. Shop even more savings and bonus points offers during MVP's bonus days at Lowe's. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Valid 3/20 through 3/31. Subject to change. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. Visit Lowes.com/MVP's bonus points for details.
The hugs, the joy, even the sleepless nights. Whatever you get from parenthood, you always want to give your children everything. And the UNest app makes it easy to save for their future. The UNest app puts smart investing tools right in the palm of your hand. Plus, you'll grow your UNest account with every purchase you make from over 150 top brands like Disney Plus and DoorDash. Start building your child's financial future. Download the UNest app from the App Store or Google Play. See terms and conditions at unest.co. That's UNEST.co.
The Atlanta Braves are back, and this 2023 team is ready for another epic season.
1-1 pitch. Here's a deep drive to left center field. This thing is clear for takeoff. Back-to-back home runs, Ozuna and Riley.
Next Thursday afternoon, it's the 2023 season opener live from Washington, D.C. as the Atlanta Braves open the season against the Nationals. Braves Radio goes on the air at 11:50 Eastern, 10:50 Central on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network.
Tired of getting dinged by monthly fees on your checking account? You need Simple Checking from Home Trust Bank. With Simple Checking, you get all the essential checking services for free, including 100% online access and a free Visa debit card. It's everything you need from a checking account, but no hoops, no surprises, no monthly fees. Stop by today or call 800-627-1632. Simple Checking at Home Trust. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
At Ingles Weather, we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park. It's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Okay, well, we all, we like to, on this little segment of the program here, talk about things we don't normally talk about, especially in the world of sports.
Oh, your lead into this is really funny with my story.
And so there's a new idea. There's a new push coming to try to get Americans to grab on to a foreign sport. It's not soccer. Soccer has progressed. It's been a long time. It's been a long time coming with the MLS trying to grab a foothold with the American public. Now that that's going, maybe there's room in America for other quote-unquote foreign sports. There is a $120 million venture going on right now to launch Major League Cricket. Yep. That's exactly what I said. Last week at the Space Center in Houston, I guess at the Kennedy Space Center in Houston, there was an event where they launched the MLC, Major League Cricket. The first overall pick belonged to the Seattle Orcas. And the Orcas selected 30-year-old Harmeet Singh, who is the captain of the minor league Seattle Thunderbolts and a member of the India squad that won the 2012 Under-19 World Cup. This is one of the... Okay, you can't get us to care about the USFL. You can't get us to care about the XFL. You can't even get many people, including Flostradamus Jeremy Greene, to care about Major League Baseball anymore. What makes you think that Liam Plunkett, being the bowler for the San Francisco Unicorns, I did not make that up, that is their name.
Don't add us. We didn't name the team.
No. I don't see this happening. This seems like a major waste of $120 million to me.
Well, this is a good time for me to mention that I do have a cricket guy. Learned that during the old pandemic.
I was going to say, what does he know about MLC?
He doesn't give. It's just
you're going to be giving out MLC bangers.
I might
on the program.
Never know. Can I bet on it? Then I might have at least a vague interest. Speaking of betting, former San Francisco 49ers quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo is headed to the center of gambling, Las Vegas, Nevada. And he's never really had a problem scoring. But now he has an offer that might be the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life. Do you know what the chicken ranch is? You've heard of the bunny ranch.
Yeah.
Well, the chicken ranch is the same thing.
I love the chicken bacon ranch. That's like my favorite.
God, you're fat. You could lose 300 pounds and you're still the fattest person I know.
No, not it.
The chicken ranch is a brothel in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Okay.
And two of their famed employees, Caitlin Bell and Alice Little, have come up with a plan to make sure that Jimmy Garoppolo's really happy in Las Vegas.
Gosh. Here it comes.
They have offered their services for free for life.
For life?
For life. They feel like with him coming to Las Vegas, that he just needs to have his mind completely fixated on football. And so, I'm just gonna throw this out there. I don't look like Jimmy Garoppolo.
No.
I look like Jimmy Garoppolo if you ordered him from Wish. And then put a whole lot of hair on his head, like took the stubble.
I think the Wish version of Jimmy Garoppolo is insulted that you compared yourself to him, but okay.
Factually accurate. Coming from a man that starred in the Goonies. But, see, he's self-deprecating. It steals my thunder when you do that. They want him to be completely locked in on taking to the Las Vegas Raiders to the Super Bowl, and they want to take away something off his mind. No report as of yet as to whether Jimmy has responded to this offer or not, but I'm going to say I don't think that was a problem for Jimmy Garoppolo in the first place.
No. Of all the things that Jimmy Garoppolo could struggle at in life, I'm pretty sure that's not one of them.
Yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo's like, hey, so what about that chicken bacon ranch that Tank just mentioned? Could we get those free for life?
He does do Subway commercials.
It's harder for me to get a sandwich. Okay, sorry. I was headed down a path there.
Just don't.
Don't. You know where I was headed with that. If you know me, you know where that was headed. By the way, we have breaking news.
Ooh.
Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news?
This is not a football story, so it's not going to get a ton of credence. But the North Carolina Tar Heels have announced that Armando Bacot will be returning to school.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So anybody who was, maybe upset about the fact that he has the all-time rebounding record now for North Carolina.
He's about to put that way out there.
No one will ever touch it again. You could come in and you could average 30 rebounds a game for 3 seasons, go to the NBA, and you're still not going to touch Armando's rebounding record.
Correct.
Wow. I really didn't expect that. I mean, I've heard a lot of scuttlebutt that we could just be doing this again next year, which I don't.
With everyone?
Yeah.
Oh, please do.
Caleb Love comes back. He's not finding, he's not finding a soft place to land in the NBA draft. He's not hearing good things, which, I mean, I feel like I could have told you, but I'm not an NBA draft guy.
That's a side hobby of mine. There's no NBA draft buzz for any player that played for the North Carolina Tar Heels.
RJ Davis is going to come back. I feel pretty certain about that. We could be doing all this all again next year.
Congratulations.
Woof.
Speaking of coming back next year, there's a player in the NFL that may or may not.
And that guy's name is Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, he's waiting on the bag to come from somebody, whether it be the Baltimore Ravens or someone else. We don't know who that someone else is, but we do know that there has been a representative of Lamar Jackson reaching out to other teams.
Who apparently is not licensed by the NFLPA.
He's not certified by the NFLPA.
Just go get an agent that's licensed.
Exactly. He has someone acting as an agent for him that is not certified by the league, which is a no-no. Remember, Roquan Smith got in trouble for this or got rebuked by Roger Goodell in the league for doing this last season with the Chicago Bears. Shockingly enough, ended up with the Baltimore Ravens, but that's aside from the point. Lamar Jackson has this person out there, and everybody's hopped on to one thing. That this person's out there telling them that Lamar is done with Baltimore.
It's a report from Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk. That this representative has contacted multiple teams in an effort to spark negotiations aimed at a possible offer sheet.
If Lamar's got people calling, he's got to be ready to move on, right?
I feel like if there's anybody in the NFL that has ever just sat around and gone, I tried to tell you, it would be Eric DaCosta. We've argued for 2 years. We've never even been in the ballpark. The NFL's now telling you what your value is, because your greatest ability is your availability. And this is a team that does not have there isn't a plan B. Tyler Huntley's not an NFL quarterback. This team would go into the toilet without Lamar Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
And they have no fear. They haven't blinked. From what somebody in the league told me yesterday, they haven't even spoken since free agency started because they don't care.
They don't need to.
They don't have to. All right, let's say somebody chimes up, and I keep hearing the Indianapolis Colts. Let's say somebody signs him to an offer sheet. Oh, I think we may have more breaking news, and it's going to make me so angry.
Is that button time?
Yeah, I hit the
here's
stupid
the
button.
Who's gonna break the news?
It makes it even better that I know you don't like the news that's coming.
Who's gonna break the news?
And the New York Jets have traded for Jonah Williams?
No. This is a trade that I actually mentioned last week. That's from Ian Rappaport. The New York Jets are trading Elijah Moore to the Cleveland Browns.
Ooh, okay.
The Browns get pick number 74 and Elijah Moore for pick 42.
So you're moving up in the draft?
Yes.
I like it.
I don't.
Why not?
I would rather have Elijah Moore than Mecole Hardman.
Would you, though? I mean, he went through the last year not being used and all of that. Maybe that had less to do with Zach Wilson's suckitude than we thought. Maybe he really does have a rift with the front office or the coaching staff or whatever, and maybe this is best.
Everything I've been told, the rift with the front office was done on his side. It was not done on the Jets side.
Okay.
They did not like that in a year where they were competitive, Elijah Moore came out. They considered it to be a very me-first move. Now, as somebody that has graded the draft for many years, I will tell you this is one of the greatest trades I've ever seen in my life for the Cleveland Browns. You just got a receiver who, oh, by the way, is 22 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He'd be the number one receiver in this class, and it's not even kind of close. I mean, not even in the ballpark. He'd go top
Quentin,
10.
Over Jackson
No
Smith
doubt,
and Jigba.
not close.
Okay.
He would go in the top 10 of this class. I mean, I guess I vaguely get what Joe's doing because he is undersized, and in the system, that's not something that has historically gone particularly well. But I feel like you tapped out on a really good player really early. And that's not something – and I knew this as soon as I saw the Mecole Hardman thing. Okay, you're paying him up to $6.5 million a year. Where exactly is he going to fall in?
Yeah, that means there's a chair coming open somewhere.
Yeah.
And here it is. Elijah Moore now going to the Cleveland Browns. I don't really think that's the star that they've been promising in the offseason, but maybe it could
100% it is.
Is it?
100% it is.
Okay.
No Smiles in our YouTube comment said, over Jackson Smith and Jigba, you have the same dealer Rodgers has. Jackson Smith and Jigba's not even the number one receiver in this class to anybody. Yeah, I'll put it this way. The 3 on virtually every board I've seen is Jordan Addison. Name me the thing that Elijah Moore doesn't do better than him. I'll wait. He's faster. He's bigger. He's a better blocker. And that's not saying much because they're both little. Yeah, this is a home run for the Cleveland Browns. That's as good of a move as you could possibly have made with virtually no draft capital. Now, Cleveland's not picking until the beginning of the 3rd round. I'm processing this as it goes. Thank you to all the people in the YouTube comments that alerted me to this because there's a lot of screens happening in front of me, and Twitter was not one of them. I feel like Andrew Berry of the Cleveland Browns just did an absolute masterclass in how to build a roster when you have to make the deal for the quarterback. You have to give up the picks, so you don't have the first-rounders and all of the things. What have I been penciling in to Cleveland in every mock draft that you have done with me?
Wide receiver.
No. Somebody stop the run.
Because
they couldn't do that.
Yeah, defensive tackle.
But we hadn't done one of those since – we haven't gotten to Cleveland yet, so we haven't done one of those since free agency yet. So Cleveland goes out with their – I'm going to say limited dollars. Mm-hmm. They weren't just flush with cap space. They weren't in terrible shape. They go get Dalvin Tomlinson, who will help them against the run. I didn't love the signing, but it took away a problem. You re-sign Ethan Pacic, the center. You get Okoronkwo, the edge, who's gotten just absolutely more love on this show than probably – if there was a show done by his parents, I don't think he would have gotten as much love as he has on this show. And you sign Juan Thornhill to replace John Johnson, who just didn't fit there. Then you take your one piece of trade capital, and you go to the Jets, who have made it very obvious that they're out on Elijah Moore. And you go get that guy who would have been a first-round pick in this draft and still has 3 years left on his deal. 2 years left on his deal because he was a second-round pick. That's a masterclass by the Cleveland Browns. That's how good teams become great. And this will be one of those deals we look back on and go, how on earth did the Jets tap out on this guy so early?
New York Jets making moves ahead of the arrival of Aaron Rodgers. Mecole Hardman was signed today. 1-year deal worth up to $6.5 million.
Yes, there's a good number of incentive in that, but I don't know how much.
And now sending Elijah Moore to the Cleveland Browns to move up in the 2nd round to increase their draft capital.
What does that tell you? There's a second layer of this.
Okay.
What does that tell you? All right, so the Jets just moved up into the 2nd round. They have 2 prevailing needs: offensive line and linebacker.
Yep.
It's 2 biggest needs on this team.
Yep.
They just traded up to right in front of their pick in the 2nd round. The Aaron Rodgers thing is going to get is going to get done, and it's going to get done soon.
And one of those 2 picks will be going to the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, theirs. This pick for Cleveland, I would say, stays with the Jets because I would argue that there's somebody that they think Green Bay might want, and they don't want them in front of them. I don't mind that part. I just hate that you had to give up Elijah Moore to do it. Virtually every time I see players, active NFL players for picks deals, I almost always fall on the side of the player. Because you get 30% of what they're worth. So you had Elijah Moore on your roster for 2 years, and you wound up just trading him for a pick that was, I think, 5 spots behind where you took him in the first place in a lesser draft. Aaron Rodgers is going to be the quarterback of the New York Jets. That's exactly what this deal tells me.
Okay.
None of it shocks me. This has been rumored for about a week. I was hoping if I just didn't talk about it, it would go away.
But alas, it has not.
No.
Elijah Moore now with the Cleveland Browns, and trades continue to happen left and right here through the run up to the NFL draft, and we will have all the latest for you right here in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. We got Jeremy's Bangers of the Night coming up next. Also, top of the 4 o'clock hour after the Sports Center update, it will be time for a Top 13. And, of course, when you're talking draft classes, you always got to start with the most important position in all of sports. Top 13 quarterbacks coming up from Flostradamus, Jeremy Greene.
There's a lot of talk about heroes these days.
Hey, buddy, you want to go fishing?
The folks in the funny outfits with superpowers and spandex.
All right, buddy, let me help you.
But at Ingles, we know that a lot of our heroes
Now you look like a pro.
are a little closer to home. They're the ones who give us what we need for those everyday adventures. That's why we look up to the ones who look out for us.
Don't forget your fish food. Catch a big one.
Ingles.
See you later, Dad.
All the ingredients for family.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Lowe's MVP's bonus days are back for pros. Right now, buy a DeWalt 20-volt Max Power Stack Battery 2-pack at $199 and get a select DeWalt Bear tool free. Plus, earn 3 times the bonus points on all Metabo HPT tools and products. Shop even more savings and bonus points offers during MVP's bonus days at Lowe's. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Valid 3/20 through 3/31. Subject to change. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. Visit Lowes.com/MVP's bonus points for details.
Cleaning the inside of your house is easy, but the outside is where most people need a little help. WNC Wash Pros are the highest rated exterior cleaning company in North Carolina with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Whether you need your walkways pressure washed or the outside of the house scrubbed clean, we will kill all organic growth to preserve your paint and extend the life of your roof with our gentle and soft approach. Call us at 828-560-WASH or visit our website at WNCWashPros.com for a free estimate today.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
What do you mean he went searching for fresher powder? We have full classes today.
Instructor down at Vesper Ski School.
Toward each other to snowplow, honey, not away.
She needs more ski instructors to slalom through the day-to-day.
Pizza, fries. Whoa, Braley, no, pizza.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Coffee's the closer's only. Get him the money.
Then when you get the money, you get the power.
That watch costs more than your car.
Then when you get the power, then you get the woman.
The public can lead you astray, or it can make for a profitable night. Last night I went 3-2, and two of my picks were within the 1.5 point range of public line movement. That took what could have been a 1-4 loser to a profitable 3-2 Tuesday night. We look to continue the winning tonight with another NBA slate before we turn back to college tomorrow. This is Greene on Greene, brought to you by Ingles Markets. Low prices, love the savings. The Toronto Raptors are a 9-point favorite at home tonight against the Indiana Pacers. Over-under is 234. Speaking of the public moving a number, this is one that's been going up all day because the initial 7 was stupid. Toronto's one of the best rebounding teams in the league, and Indiana is the worst. Tonight, they'll be without star guard Tyrese Halliburton, and that has led to some pretty disastrous results for the Pacers this year. Indiana has beaten Toronto in both of their matchups this year, but if you look a little deeper, it's easy to poke holes in that. The Raptors were missing Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam in one of those, and both of them were in Indiana. This one's in Toronto, and I don't think it's going to be close for even a quarter. Almost always a good idea to take the under in a blowout because the reserves could play the entire fourth quarter. I hate the line has swelled this much, but I'm happy the over-under has too. Raptors minus the 9, under the 234. Next, the Los Angeles Lakers are a 1.5 point dog tonight at home against the Phoenix Suns. I saw this matchup on the slate and was completely prepared to take the Lakers minus 4-ish. Much to my delight and surprise, I don't have to do that because some line maker somewhere did us a great solid tonight. Without Kevin Durant, this Suns team is thin and flat out bad. 24th in the NBA in net rating in games that Durant has missed since the trade. Phoenix gutted their roster, and now they don't have the player they gutted it for. On the flip side, would you like to hear the list of NBA teams getting more scoring from their bench than the Los Angeles Lakers in the last 2 weeks? Would you like to hear it again? These are what gamblers call so games. Strength on weakness. The Suns can't stop anybody at the rim. The Lakers shoot the third most shots at the rim in the NBA. The Suns don't get to the free throw line. The Lakers are one of the best in the league in that. I'm bringing it out. This is my achy, breaky, no mistakey lock of the year of today. Lakers money line. They went out right, and I'm not sure it'll even be close. Finally, the Minnesota Timberwolves are a 4-point favorite tonight at home against the Atlanta Hawks. Over-under's 241.5. You remember that thing I said about public line movement? The over-under in this game has gone up 13 points. The initial line was low and it was cautious. We don't know for sure that Karl Anthony Towns makes his debut tonight or that Anthony Edwards is back playing for the Timber Puppies, but the line would suggest they both are. But the public jumped on it so hard that all of the value has been bled out of it. Now the value's on the under. Be careful. Late line movement from sharps could wildly move this number. But as long as it's north of 238, I'm heavy on the under. Now, for who wins? Atlanta's on the second night of a back-to-back, and they have been alternating wins and losses. Win 2, lose 2, win 1, lose 1 for the entire year of 2023. Minnesota at full strength with a rest advantage and at home? Yes, please. Wolves minus 4, under the 241.5. For more, follow us on all the social medias at The Sportsocracy. And as always, Greene on Greene is brought to you by Ingles Markets. Love the savings with Ingles. Love the winnings with me. Mull it out.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Temperatures warming up for the end of the business week. Clouds decreasing here tonight as temperatures drop down into the middle part of the 40s. Mix of clouds and sunshine for us on Thursday. It'll be breezy and warmer. Middle to upper 70s tomorrow afternoon. Mix of clouds and sunshine Friday as temperatures top out around 80 in the afternoon. Chance of rain again Friday night into early Saturday. High Saturday, low 70s. Partly cloudy 70 for Sunday. I'm meteorologist Ken Boone at the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Print and Marketing Services help small business print big. Now get $15 off signs, banners, and posters when you spend $75 or more. Offer ends 4/15. Visit staples.com/printbig for details. This is your side that tries Staples, where your prints are perfect, guaranteed.
You are invited to dinner with us. Hello, my name is Stan Asher, lead pastor of Connection Point. I want to invite you to come and find hope, encounter truth, and experience love. We invite you to join us every Wednesday evening, 6:15 p.m. for a free meal followed by small groups, life-relevant Bible studies for every age group at 7 p.m. We also have an exciting children's ministry. We are located at 142 Elk Mountain Road, Asheville, North Carolina, 28804. Check us out on the web to learn more at connectionpointcog.org. We'll be looking for you.
You'd do anything to keep your vehicle happy. Let's make sure it stays running smoothly. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, the right parts are just a click away. When you see the green check, you know that part will fit. Get the right parts at the right price. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Only iHeartRadio gives you access to all of your favorite radio stations.
It's the Woody Show.
Hello.
Rod Ryan Show, check it in.
All of the once-in-a-lifetime events.
Alter Ego, are you ready?
All of the best free curated playlists.
My favorite music.
A little bit of everything.
All of the great podcasts for every interest.
Stuff they don't want you to know.
All of the mind-blowing contests.
$20,000.
Awesome.
All of your favorite superstars.
This is Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters.
And best of all, it doesn't cost a thing. Download the absolutely free iHeartRadio app now.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Imaging's revealed Clippers guard Paul George has a sprained right knee. He'll miss at least the next 2 weeks. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports he'll be reevaluated at that point, and then a timeline for a potential return in the playoffs will be clearer. Grizzlies expect to have their best player back in the lineup tonight versus the Rockets. John Morant set to return after serving an 8-game suspension for conduct detrimental to the NBA. Expect a motivated Morant from here on out, says ESPN's Matt Barnes.
He had basketball taken away for the first time ever, and it wasn't because of an injury. So I expect him to come back hungry. I expect him to come back excited, energetic. And if you look at it from a different kind of standpoint, he really got like 2 weeks off heading into the playoffs, which is not a terrible thing. So I expect him as an individual to be a monster tonight, and I expect Memphis to follow his lead.
Matt Barnes on Fitz and Harry. NFL Jets agreed to a deal with receiver Mecole Hardman, also traded receiver Elijah Moore and a third-round pick in next month's draft to the Browns for a second-rounder. Astros second baseman Jose Altuve had thumb surgery today. He won't resume baseball activities for at least 2 months.
A championship team is about each player being a perfect fit. Same with your vehicle. So for parts that fit, head to eBay Motors and look for the green check. Stay in the game with eBay Guaranteed Fit. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy, presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy inside the Ingles studio on ESPN Asheville. 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. The Sportsocracy heard everywhere you go on the iHeart Radio app. And you can take us with you everywhere you go and see us as well with YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel, and that will get you into the chat with us here in the Sportsocracy, and it'll also get you all lined up with our team-by-team Draftmas content. As the NFL draft is approaching in just a little over a month, we got 3-round mock drafts going out team by team here over the coming days in the Sportsocracy, so you want to keep it tuned to us for all of that. And with it being Draftmas season, we're kicking off this hour with our first of the yearly top 13s. Jeremy is a very superstitious person. He has 13 tattoos on his body. At least half of them are the number 13. And so he gives us the top 13 prospects at each and every position, starting with the quarterbacks.
Number one for me is exactly who it's been the entire time.
Bryce
Young. As we do this on the YouTube channel, you will see the RAS, Relative Athletic Score, from RAS on the screen, and Bryce didn't do any of the working out things. I firmly believe he could run faster than a 4.6.
I would say that's probably accurate.
I think he's faster than that. I know he doesn't do it very often, but I'm not sure that that's not more Nick Saban than it was him. I'm not sure that can't be coached out of it. I cannot for the life of me. This is where I run into problems with Bryce Young. All right, yes, the size is a problem. Give me another problem he has. Is he inaccurate?
No.
Is he a bad deep ball thrower?
No.
He's probably the best one in this draft, which is funny because he doesn't have the biggest arm in this draft. Mobile?
100%.
Oh, yeah. He does all those things. So if you take the size out of it, in a league where we have said a bajillion times it's getting smaller, it's getting faster, and quarterbacks get hit less.
Is he a better or worse prospect than Kyler Murray?
Better, not close. Better, not close.
That's the one you're always going to be attached to because you were same size as him at the combine, but he was 2 pounds heavier. Okay. But Kyler Murray gets hurt. Well,
Kyler Murray got hurt in a non-contact.
Right. Was that due to his size?
No. It's just a fluke thing that happened.
Mm-hmm. I think the play that made – I was already a fan of Bryce Young, but the play that made me fall more in love with him as the number one prospect in this quarterback class was the first game of the season against Texas when he was ducking, and diving to try to keep that last play alive before they scored the touchdown, ended up winning that game.
He's a phenomenal prospect.
Yeah. I mean, he has the pocket presence, the awareness to get out of the pocket when he needs to. He can throw on the run. I love all of the things about Bryce Young.
I feel like we have transitioned now to C.J. Stroud's the best, because he's a few inches taller. I mean, he outweighs him by 10 pounds based on how they weighed in at the combine. Okay. I'm not sure I'm getting because that's the only thing you've got that he's better at for me.
Is the size, yeah.
That's it. If Bryce Young was in C.J. Stroud's body, this would have been the easiest thing in the history of the draft. And that's what bothers me, is that you're falling into this trap to me. Well, nobody's ever done it before. Yeah, we also had never had 220-pound linebackers. I got 4 of them going in this draft. So, I mean, how people aren't seeing that one leads to the other, I don't know. But this won't be. This is the case study, and I think you're going to see it happen more often going forward, because Bryce Young is, yes, he's small and he's not just a runner. I always said if Kyler Murray was 0.3 of a second slower, he wouldn't have been drafted.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't get it. I don't think I'm going to get it. And if I had the number one pick, I would be taking Bryce Young, and I wouldn't think a second thing about it.
All right, Bryce Young is the number one quarterback prospect on the board. Also, I saw an interesting stat that while some people will question the size of Bryce Young, you know how many of his passes at Alabama got knocked down at the offensive line?
I'm going to venture a guess it's not many.
It's none. None of them.
Wow.
He didn't have one pass that was batted down at the defensive line.
Wow. I didn't
he
even know that.
Can't see over him. He can't throw. Oh, really? Well, he did it in college.
Yeah.
I get the NFL's a different scenario.
No doubt.
But again, so that's a healthy little stat if you're a Bryce Young fan. Somebody says, "Oh, but his size." Well, it didn't matter him getting passes to his receivers in college. It might be a little more difficult, obviously, in the NFL level, but here he is. The number one prospect in the 2023 class among quarterbacks is Bryce Young, which means number 2 has to be C.J. Stroud.
Correct. I mean, he has more of an NFL body, 6'3", 215, big hands. He's got a really good deep ball arm. He's also completely allergic to running. I think he is more mobile than we have seen, and you'll never know that. I've been doing this this is my 12th year. He's the first player that first quarterback I've ever had to break out the tool of exactly how fast are you. There are ways you can do that by taking frame by frames and straight lines. And when you see a projected 40 time, that's how we figure that out. He's the first one I've ever had to tangibly do that with. And I got to about a 4.8. He's mobile enough. I'm not dinging him on the fact that he doesn't run much. And I think he's a very good quarterback prospect.
The question is, does he have the mobility and does he have the smarts to take care of himself and also make the right play at the right time like Joe Burrow does?
I have no problem with either one of those things. My problem with C.J. Stroud is progression. There are certain things that I just don't ever see quarterbacks grow out of. and I'm going to lock in on my receiver, and he'll get open eventually. I've had that knock on several quarterbacks. Oddly enough, 3 of them now coming out of Ohio State. None of them ever grew out of it. None of them. I've never seen somebody get past that. And in the NFL, it just doesn't work because you cannot consider, no matter who your receivers are, unless you have Calvin Johnson, Randy Moss, and Cooper Kupp in the slot, you cannot consistently expect that you're not going to have to make tight window throws. He virtually never did it. I'm not saying he can't do it because he did. It's just your entire thought process of playing quarterback is going to have to change. And now you're going to have the entire fortunes of an NFL franchise riding on you. Those two things mixed together are enough for me to go, I don't love this, not even a little bit. Now, he was still a top 5 prospect in this draft to me, so I'm banging on the guy here, and it's not real. It's just I like Bryce Young better.
Mm-hmm. Now it gets tricky for me.
Does it, though?
I got to know. I have a feeling I know which way you lean on this, but the third quarterback on the board, which SEC quarterback is it?
It's Will Levis, and it's not even kind of close. It's not even kind of close. And here's my swan song on Will Levis. If he played at Alabama, how good do you think he would have been? Name me the weapon he had at Kentucky that even kind of scared you. Oh, yeah, and he played in the best conference in all of college football. Mm-hmm. Not close. And got him to bowl games. Well, he got hit all the time. Yeah. How many of those linemen do you think are going to get drafted? 7 rounds of a draft.
This year's offensive line?
Yeah, it's 0. I'll go ahead and tell you. It's 0.
I was going to say, he lost, 5 over the first 2 years?
Mm-hmm. If he had played at Ohio State or Alabama, Will Levis might be the number 1 quarterback in this class. You're banging on him for college tape, and I could have done the same thing with Joe Burrow. I could have at times done the same thing with Trevor Lawrence. I could have eviscerated Patrick Mahomes off college tape. Because he didn't play with the kind of talent he was playing against. You want to know why you had no clue who Pat Mahomes was if you were the average NFL draft person going into the draft? Because he played at Texas Tech and they were awful.
Yep.
He came out of a weird system, and so there's he didn't check all the boxes in college. Okay, there's a lot of guys that fall into that. You know who did check all the boxes? Tim Tebow. Congratulations. If college success is what you're banking this on, good luck. You're going to miss a lot.
Right.
He just didn't have high-level talent around him. Now, do I think he's ready to come in and play right away? No, not really. No, I want him to he's one of those that I fear gets David Carr syndrome. He's been hit so many times that his brain may look like that egg that was in the frying pan of this is your brain on drugs.
Okay.
Because he's been hit a billion times.
Mm-hmm.
Had several injury issues, but he's a big, thick kid with the biggest arm I've ever seen.
A lot of people like to draw the comparison between him and Josh Allen. Is that too much? Is that too far?
It depends on what you're asking me. In terms of the system he can go into, I would, if I was going schematically, what system would fit Will Levis the best? It would be exactly what Josh Allen does with the Buffalo Bills. That's the reason I was so tied to him with Carolina when I thought Ken Dorsey was going to be the next coach. Because all I have to do is take the exact same system. Now, are they the same player? No. They have equivalently large arms. Will Levis is slightly more accurate than Allen was coming out. I would say he's a little bit less of a runner, but not by much.
So Will Levis is your 3rd quarterback in the 2023 NFL draft class.
Now, as I said earlier in the show, the difference between C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young is less than the difference between C.J. Stroud and Will Levis.
Mm-hmm.
Now's when we fall off a cliff because I don't like this next guy really at all. And it just kind of shows how much I don't like this class as you get deeper. It's Anthony Richardson. He has a perfect 10 RAS score.
Mm-hmm.
He's the most athletic quarterback that has ever come into the NFL. Now, take his athleticism away. What does he do well? Consistently.
I mean, he's got a big arm. He can chuck it.
He does, but you have to look at where that comes from. When you saw the big arm happen, it's because nobody came close to him.
Mm-hmm.
And he was set back in a 5 to 7 step drop and had a receiver that just was absolutely wide open.
Yep.
Because, yes, he does have a big arm. He has a big arm when everything goes perfectly hunky-dunky. I heard Dan Orlovsky say something about he's not inaccurate. Are you on drugs? I mean, because that's the only way you watched the same tape I did and came to that conclusion. He's horribly inaccurate. His footwork is awful. That being said, I've been wrong about Jalen Hurts. I've been wrong about a lot of mobile quarterbacks because we're to a point that you do have Jalen Hurts that can run the ball 14 times a game. And it is a dynamic part of your offense that is really hard to stop. I think he can do that part. What I'm not sure of is with the throwing motion, with the inaccuracies, I could see him coming into the league if he had to play in his first year and challenging Jameis Winston's 30 interceptions in his rookie year. That's how unbelievably inaccurate he is at times. Because an open receiver in college football and an open receiver in the NFL are patently different.
Mm-hmm.
And he played for more than this, but in one, I've gone pillar to post on his last year at Florida. I saw him make 2 tight window throws the entire season, and one of them should have been picked off. It went right through the defender's hands and landed in, I think it was Justin Shorter's.
Every draft season, much like Jeremy and his bend that he talks about with offensive linemen and such, willing blockers with tight ends, you always hear the phrase or the discussion come up with quarterbacks of when you get to the NFL, not only should you be able to hit the open guy, but you got to throw that wide receiver open or that tight end open.
He has the arm to do that. Just the motion is so bad. It's so elongated.
But that's what I'm saying, the accuracy as well. He doesn't have – I don't know that he has that ability.
Bob Brown in our YouTube comment said, here's the issue with Levis versus Richardson, and he gave their stats against Vanderbilt. Okay, here's what that doesn't say. Kentucky's defense against Florida's pretty close. Florida has 3 offensive linemen that will get drafted in the next 2 years. Kentucky has 0. Florida had 2 receivers that will get drafted in the next 2 years. Kentucky had 0. Will Levis was also in a new system that did not fit him with somebody that did not recruit him. And he fit in it like I would fit into a dress. Go back and watch the tape from the year before when he was comfortable with legitimate weapons and tell me you like Anthony Richardson better than him.
Mm-hmm.
If you do it, fine. I'm going to tell you I disagree vehemently, and I think you're horribly wrong. But this is one of those times, and I've had a few of these quarterbacks over the years, of Pat Mahomes was one of them. You will find out in very short order. Because in the right system, and I'm afraid Will Levis is going to fall, Will Levis will be really good. The pandalirium over Anthony Richardson because he's so fast is exactly what I knew was coming, and it's what terrifies me about him.
No shockers so far in our top 13 quarterbacks of the 2023 NFL draft class, as chosen by at ESPN draft nerd Jeremy Greene. You had C.J. Stroud at the top. Then you had Bryce Young at the top, C.J. Stroud just behind him, and then a drop-off to Will Levis, and then a marked drop-off after Will Levis to Anthony Richardson.
And now
how big is the chasm coming now? Really?
I have a 5th one.
Okay, number 5, close to Anthony Richardson at 4. We'll get you up to date on the latest in the top 13 here next on ESPN Asheville.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is stopped on I-40 westbound between NC 209 and NC 276. Heavy traffic on 26 westbound between 280 and 191. Traffic is flowing freely on 240 westbound between US 70 and Haywood Street. The shoulder is closed due to construction on 26 eastbound between 191 and US 64. And we're still seeing that long-term construction on I-40 both east and westbound between US 25 and NC 2531. I'm Elena Begso with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. The double steak grilled cheese burrito is now at Taco Bell. 2 servings of grilled marinated steak and a melty 3-cheese layer inside, plus grilled bubbly cheese on the outside. At participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last. Contact local stores for prices, hours, and participation which vary. Tax extra.
On the free iHeartRadio app, you never pay to hear what you love, and you never wait to hear what you want. Save your money, save your time, and listen anywhere. Download the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
iHeartRadio. Cleaning the inside of your house is easy, but the outside is where most people need a little help. WNC Wash Pros are the highest rated exterior cleaning company in North Carolina with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Whether you need your walkways pressure washed or the outside of the house scrubbed clean, we will kill all organic growth to preserve your paint and extend the life of your roof with our gentle and soft approach. Call us at 828-560-WASH or visit our website at WNCWashPros.com for a free estimate today.
Honey, come here, quick.
What is it?
Shh, check it out. The prices on all these highly rated tequilas are amazing. Total Wine must have made a mistake.
Nope, they always have the best deals in town. Remember that amazing reposado your sister brought over last week? See, it's right here.
Whoa, that's a low price. I mean, whoa, that's a low price.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly. B21.
Lowe's MVP's bonus days are back for pros. Right now, buy a DeWalt 20-volt Max Power Stack Battery 2-pack at $199 and get a select DeWalt Bear tool free. Plus, earn 3 times the bonus points on all Metabo HPT tools and products. Shop even more savings and bonus points offers during MVP's bonus days at Lowe's. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Valid 3/20 through 3/31. Subject to change. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. Visit Lowes.com/MVP's bonus points for details.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
It's time to discover the convenience and time savings of contact-free pickup with Ingles Curbside. Just visit shop.ingles-markets.com or download the app. And your Ingles personal shopper gets to work with specialized training on how to select the freshest items for a pre-scheduled pickup. They'll even text you with updates. You pull up to a designated space and your personal shopper delivers your items right to your vehicle. Fresh, fast, and affordable. It's all in the bag. Ingles. Low prices. Love the savings.
The Sportsocracy.
Why are you smiling? Because I love football.
And here in the Sportsocracy, we also love the Draftmas season. Getting you ready for the 2023 NFL Draft in just over 1 month. And we're rolling through Jeremy's position-by-position rankings. Starting with the quarterbacks. Top 13s start today with quarterbacks. We already have Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Will Levis, Anthony Richardson. Those are the top 4. Now, to me, there should be a chasm here. But
There's
Jeremy
not.
says there's a quarterback that's really close to Anthony Richardson.
There's not a chasm here.
At number 5.
It's Tanner McKee.
Okay.
I don't. So here's where I fall in with Anthony Richardson. All right, so we talk about his intangibles and all of the big arm and all of these things that you're projecting because you've never seen them. I say the exact same thing about Tanner McKee. He has an NFL arm, for sure. NFL body. 6'6", 230. To me, he's a much bigger version of Davis Mills with a better arm. I know that's not a ringing endorsement, but that should tell you what I think about Anthony Richardson.
Mm-hmm.
To me, he's 5, and the difference, we've been talking about the difference between each of them, I would say Tanner McKee is closer to Anthony Richardson than any of the 3 ahead of him or to the one in front of them.
Okay.
I don't think it's a drop off a cliff. Now, the thing that bothers me is that he doesn't process the field as quickly as the guys in front of him. Needs to work on touch. Because when he's left alone, he does the same thing Anthony Richardson does. I've seen him just uncork bombs that look phenomenal. The problem is I also see him throw a ball over a running back's head pretty often. Those two are very much in the same – they're in the same vein to me.
But another big statured kid who's got a big arm, you just don't know how it translates to the next level. And he doesn't have the athletic upside.
No, he doesn't have an athletic upside at all. He is I don't think he's a statue, but he's not going to outrun defensive lines very often. He's also a little bit older of a kid. He's 23 years old. So, I like Tanner McKee, and I think he will be a nice addition for a team. And I think he goes in day 2. There are 2 quarterbacks that I see going in day 2. I don't know that he ever projects to be more than I think he'd be a really good backup and could start in a pinch. I don't know that there's a projection that I can be rosier than that.
Okay.
But in the right situation, you never know.
At number 6.
Hendon Hooker out of Tennessee. Another kid that's older. And before anybody asks me, well, why do you have Tanner McKee over him? The injury is one. They're both older guys. The thing that scares me about Hendon Hooker is I never had him this high until he was 2 years older than everybody was playing against. In a gimmicky offense at Tennessee. That's not a shot at Tennessee.
If you were a fan of our draft coverage last year, you will know this as the Kenny Pickett rule.
Yes. I don't like when guys all of a sudden look like NFL quarterbacks because you're a grown man at 23 years old. You're playing against 18, 19-year-old kids. Plus, you were in that gimmicky system. I'm not saying he's not I think he projects as a backup in the league as well. And I would love him as a backup to Lamar or another of these running quarterbacks because then I have a guy that can come in and do the same things, just not as well. I'm just not sure that there's an upside where he's going to be better than that. I know I've had some people say they think he can be a starter in the league. I don't see that. The body's fine. I think athletically he's fine.
So he's not the diamond in the rough that some people make him out to be we don't have to take the risk on a first-round quarterback.
No.
We can wait till the late second, third round sometime and get Hendon Hooker and be just fine.
No, I don't. I don't see that personally. I see a really good backup in a system with a running quarterback. But and he's not as mobile as you think he is. He's just – I've seen him – he does more with less in terms of mobility because I would say in a straight foot race he would lose to every quarterback I've said so far.
Really?
I think they're all faster than him.
Even Tanner?
Yes. I think in a foot race he would lose to all of them. But he was in a wide-open system, and he made 3 receivers look really, really good. So you get him into a spread-out offense like that, and he can do things. I don't see starter at all.
I think one of the things that concerns me about him and his upside is that I didn't feel like he was this kind of prospect at Virginia Tech.
No, not at all.
And then when he goes to Tennessee and he's got Cedric Tillman and Jalen Hyatt to throw to, oh, look, now he's a superstar.
I didn't have a draftable grade on him coming into the year. And I do not change those things easily.
Right.
So the fact that I've got him this high is really a testament to how good he was this year.
All right, number 7 in the top 13 quarterbacks by @ESPN Draft Nerd.
This is where I think you get into a guy that I'm not going to say he's a diamond in the rough because I absolutely hate that phrase. But he does check some boxes that I really like. It's Jake Haener out of Fresno State. Athletically, we'll say he leaves a decent amount to be desired.
More athletic, Jake Haener or Jake Fromm?
Oh, Jake Haener by a mile. More athletic, Jake Fromm or Tank Spencer? Tank Spencer by a reasonable amount. Jake Haener's just – and I hate he's a winner. Stop. Every quarterback that we talk about here is a winner. You don't see many 3-9 quarterbacks coming into the draft going, I think that guy could be good. Yeah, it's weird. Every draftable quarterback is a winner.
Except for Hendon Hooker at Virginia Tech.
Well, but he was a winner at Tennessee, and he wouldn't have been drafted at Virginia Tech, and he will be drafted now.
Right.
There's no irony to that. So, I like Haener. He's a prospect to me, and there are a couple guys that fall into this vein. He just doesn't do anything. He doesn't do anything so well that I know he can hang his hat on that in the league. He's also really small. 5'11", 205, I think was what he came in at. Or 207.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just not a big kid. He's got a little Colt McCoy to me. He's not lead-footed, but he's also not fleet-of-foot by any stretch of the imagination. He's really accurate in injuries. If there were no injuries on him, I might have him ahead of Hendon Hooker.
Mm-hmm.
But there were, and with the body build, and I can't get there. But I could see a team taking him in day 3, and he's the backup for many years to come.
Number 8.
Clayton Tune from Houston.
That's an interesting name.
It's bang-up analysis you got there.
Excuse me. Houston quarterback's not really on my radar.
No.
The last one that was Case Keenum, and that went way better in the pros than I ever thought it was going to.
Clayton Tune is the exact opposite of what I just said about Jake Haener. I think he is freakishly athletic, really big body. The thing that makes me nervous is the system that you came out of. You did a lot of high-level things as a quarterback, but the level of competition was not great. He's another one that I would like to see backing up a quarterback in like a Lamar or somebody like that runs a lot, because he can come in and hurt you with his legs. Every time I've ever seen him blitzed, it's almost like he piddles in his pants, and what is about to happen, who knows?
Nobody knows.
Now, that could be Dana Holgorsen. You know my feelings on the – that's one mullet I don't like.
Not a Giant fan.
No, that's a nice way of saying it. Him and his George Washington haircut. He's so raw, but the intangibles are there. The ball of clay is there. If you get him right with the right coach, he's the only one that's outside of that top 5 that I think, the right system could turn him into a starter. It's going to take some time, and you're going to have to completely build a system around him.
Number 10. We'll give you up next right here in the Sportsocracy. I didn't realize we were running that close up on the bottom of the hour here. We have gone through 9 quarterbacks now in the top 13 of Jeremy's quarterback class of the 2023 NFL draft class. We're just a little over a month away, and we're going to continue to do the position-by-position breakdowns right here in the Sportsocracy with @ESPN Draft Nerd. More next.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Temperatures warming up for the end of the business week. Clouds decreasing here tonight as temperatures drop down into the middle part of the 40s. Mix of clouds and sunshine for us on Thursday. It'll be breezy and warmer. Middle to upper 70s tomorrow afternoon. Mix of clouds and sunshine Friday as temperatures top out around 80 in the afternoon. Chance of rain again Friday night into early Saturday. High Saturday, low 70s. Partly cloudy 70 for Sunday. I'm meteorologist Ken Boone at the Weather Channel.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is stopped on I-40 westbound between 209 and 276. Slow traffic on 26 westbound between NC 280 and 191. Traffic is flowing freely on 240 westbound between US 70 and Haywood Street. The shoulder is closed on 26 eastbound between 191 and US 64. And we're still seeing that long-term construction on I-40 both east and westbound between US 25 and NC 2531. I'm Elena Vegso with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors. You do anything to keep your vehicle happy. Let's make sure it stays running smoothly. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, the right parts are just a click away. When you see the green check, you know that part will fit. Get the right parts at the right price. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Tara, quote, "My doctor wanted me to do saline rinses for my allergies, but I've never been able to successfully use a neti pot. Navage uses suction power, so it's foolproof. There are nights when I'll have particularly bothersome allergies. I'll bust it out, and the results are immediate. It's such a relief. It's become a lifesaver." Unquote. She's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Did you know that Ingles sells more organics than any other grocery store? Or that they run their own dairy? Or that they only serve USDA choice and prime meat? Or that they donate 3,956 meals a day to local food banks? Well, now you do. It's all in the bag.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
It is the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. And it's time to get weird. Officer-involved shootings, usually no joke. I say usually because I think in this scenario, we can all get a little bit of a chuckle out of this one. And then we'll go to upstate South Carolina for the story in Greenville County. 3 Greenville County deputies are, well, they're in trouble because of an incident that happened in Abbeville County during a training exercise. The 3 deputies, they had gotten done with their training for the day. They were using blanks in their guns. And after it was all said and done, they were packing up, getting ready to go. One of the officers thought it would be funny to fire off a blank round in the direction of one of his fellow deputies. Well, when boys will be boys, what did the other officer do? He fired back. The problem is, when he fired back, he didn't realize that he had already traded his blanks used for training in with live actual rounds and shot his buddy in the foot. Now, all 3 of them are being disciplined, or I guess the story says they have been disciplined following the investigation of the friendly fire incident. Be safe with guns. And it would be one thing if I was just like warning Joe Blow down the street of, hey, you probably should be safe with your firearms. The fact that you have to say it to trained law enforcement professionals, that's the weird part to me.
What are the 9 scariest words in the English language?
I am from the government, and I'm here to help.
Correct. The Supreme Court. Not a state Supreme Court. Not a Supreme Court held in someone's backyard. The United States Supreme Court heard the argument that I am about to detail to you.
Okay.
Jack Daniels, the libating purveyance company,
okay,
has sued a dog toy maker that's called the Bad Spaniels. You see where that's?
No.
Jack Daniels. Bad Spaniels.
Aha.
They didn't do that on purpose. But the fact that the 2 things sound alike, they thought it would be funny to create a dog toy that looked like a bottle of Jack.
Oh.
And so it looks like a bottle of Jack.
Yep.
It's
With
got
the
a dog
logo
on
font and all that? Did they use that?
Yeah, they did, but it's instead of old number 7, it's old number 2 on your carpet.
Yeah.
You see, but
see what I did there?
They got this in front of the United States Supreme Court to determine whether this was copyright infringement or not. Okay. We don't do politics on this show, but there's sometimes that I see things that annoy me to such a point that I have to comment on them, and my name's on the door, and I'm allowed to do so. If you're telling me that this is the best case that came in front of you today, I think you could have gone on vacation for a while. I feel like there's probably a slew of things that deserved your attention more than something that a dog chews on that might look like Jack Daniels. By the way, at the very bottom, it says not affiliated with the Jack Daniels Company. End the message, repeat the line. Maybe whoever is picking these cases needs to be a little bit pickier.
A little more judicious, if you will.
Oh,
Aha.
look what he did there.
Ah, the old number 2 on the carpet.
Not just telling goober jokes today, are you?
No, you're doing much of that yourself.
I did not do that.
It is the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, and we are kicking off our top 13s. Every position in the NFL draft broken down into the top 13s because Jeremy's a superstitious guy, and he's got to have 13. He can't just have 10. He can't just have 12. He's got to be
it's my thing.
Bougie and go top 13. So we're going through the top 13 quarterbacks of the 2023 NFL draft class.
That was an inadvertent bell, but it worked.
To recap for you, we started Bryce Young is 1, C.J. Stroud 2, Will Levis, Anthony Richardson, and Tanner McKee round out the top 5. Then, as Jeremy said, a marked drop-off after that to Hendon Hooker at 6, Jake Haener at 7, Clayton Tune out of Stanford was the number 8 quarterback. So who comes in at number 9?
Dorian Thompson-Robinson, UCLA.
But I thought you hated him.
No, I hate his arm. He has a very mundane arm. But could he back up Jalen Hurts? Absolutely. Because he's very athletic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love the body. He's 6'1", 205. But he's very fast. He's a good runner, makes good decisions. If you could combine Dorian Thompson-Robinson and Anthony Richardson to one person, they'd be the greatest quarterback that ever lived.
They'd be Patrick Mahomes.
Correct. And then some, because they'd be faster. Dorian Thompson-Robinson makes the right decision practically every time. The mechanics are good. The problem is he has a noodle arm. It is not an NFL-level arm. Everything else about him works. And I don't necessarily know that there's anything you can do about that. But if you gave him Anthony Richardson's arm, future Hall of Famer, because I like every intangible about him, and I think he will be a good backup in the NFL. Probably a developmental 3 for a year, and then slides into a backup role a year or 2 from now.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah, the backside of this quarterback class, I mean, you're going to see your quarterback from Georgia before this is all said and done, which should tell you everything you need to know.
Right, about this draft class.
Because if the NFL draft was 47 rounds long, I still couldn't find a way I would take him.
At number 10.
This kid I love. I don't know exactly how it's going to work in the NFL. It's Malik Cunningham out of Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
He's freakishly athletic as well. Didn't run quite as fast as I thought he would. 4.53. It's still pretty quick.
It's fast enough.
It's fast enough.
Right.
It's fast enough. He's very light on his feet. The problem is that virtually everything he does at an NFL level is with his feet. It has a really bad habit of just absolutely sailing passes. And you know how I said that thing about Justin Fields with Chicago, that if his first read was covered, he would just take off and run? Mm-hmm. Malik Cunningham sometimes didn't wait to see if his first receiver was covered. He would look at him. He didn't. The defender didn't fall down, and he just took off.
Well, I mean, he played for Louisville, so he knew the chances were he's not going to have an open receiver.
Well, I mean, and the thing is that the arm it's good, but he's small like Bryce Young, and all of those things kind of play against him, which is why I have him. I think he will go somewhere in the late fifth, early 6th round range. These are the 13 quarterbacks I have getting drafted. I do not have another draftable quarterback outside of the ones that we're going to talk about here.
Okay. Number 11.
Oh, hit the wrong button. Aiden O'Connell from Purdue. This is another guy that, in terms of body frame, you're doing stuff. There are a lot of people that do what I do that like him way better than I do. There was never a time he could do some things that would elicit wow, that was a great outcome. I never went, man, that's the best throw I've seen today. Ever. Never happened, not one time with all the tape I've ever watched from him. He's got a good zip, but there's no high-level NFL throws. And the decision-making at times is just genuinely god-awful. Mm-hmm. That was what I always – the people that like him, it's that he's a winner, and he found ways to bring them back from deficits. You're forgetting after the comma, he was the reason they were behind 9 times out of 10. Because he'd throw a god-awful interception inside their own 30, and now you've put me in a bad shape. Okay, it's great that you can get me out of it, but I don't really see much of an NFL quarterback there. He's a practice squad level guy for me.
Okay. So number 12.
Jaron Hall, BYU.
I'm shocked we didn't hear this name earlier.
Okay, so why are you shocked that we didn't hear his name earlier?
Because when I usually see prognosticators and people who evaluate talent like you do, he's normally in that Hendon Hooker, Tanner McKee, Jake Haener area rather than being just barely draftable.
So he's going to be 25 when the draft happens. That's
old.
That's number one that just terrifies me before I even turn the tape on. He's got a nice deep ball arm. He knows one speed. You remember John Rocker that was the closer for the Braves back in the day?
Yeah.
You know how he had one pitch? It was only a fastball.
Yeah.
Hey, that's exactly what Jaron Hall is. He has no touch whatsoever. Screen pass coming in at 143 miles an hour. Does not matter. I got it to you. Catching it's your problem. And, I mean, is he a guy – if he was 21, then maybe. Because I could work with how good the arm is. At 25, by the time you develop, you're going to be 28 years old anyway. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure you're going to get any better. Mm-hmm. Plus, you're small. And then there's the Zach Wilson thing of –
he came from
I've already seen us do this with a kid who had an exponentially better arm than yours. And I'm not sure it's not level of competition. And at the NFL level, just having a decent deep ball arm is not enough that's not enough for you to be drafted. And that's about the only thing he does at a high level.
All right, and finally at number 13 in the top 13 of Flostradamus, Jeremy Gray. I can already hear the sighs are coming. The two-time defending national champion and national championship game MVP, Stetson Bennett.
Hey, you want to break him down? Because I don't really have much positive.
I mean, there's not a whole lot to break down. I mean, the kid's pretty decent. He's pretty accurate with his throws. He doesn't have the most ginormous arm. He's not the most mobile guy on the planet, but he can get around. He can make you miss. I just don't think at the NFL level he has the prospects of doing anything.
He's very little. And then people lost their mind. Look how mobile he is. Yeah, he's little, like little. For him, it's all the intangibles. I think his football IQ is really high. He worked really hard to get where he was. Mm-hmm. I think he understands this game very well.
He's got that.
I'm not sure that I wouldn't draft Stetson Bennett and go, hey, you're never going to play. But do you want to coach? Because you're pretty good. You're pretty smart when it comes to this game.
And maybe so. He's probably already older than half the staff anyway.
Beyond a shadow of a doubt. He's got a little gutsy moxie to him.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of, is he an NFL quarterback? Oh, good God, no.
No, he's that guy that maybe he'll get a prayer and hope not to die when he gets on the football field for an emergency start or something.
I'm going to give you the same with Stetson Bennett that I asked with Will Levis, but I'm going to ask it in reverse.
Mm-hmm.
If Stetson Bennett had been the quarterback at, let's go, Elemento, Georgia Southern, would we ever have known his name?
No, sir.
No. The only reason he's here is the story, the end result, and there's just, in terms of NFL talent, I've never seen it for 1 second. And that's where I'm at with Stetson Bennett.
Mm-hmm.
This quarterback class is that bad that he's the 13th. Now, in terms of, are there any other quarterbacks that could get drafted? Tyson Bagent might. I have a completely undraftable grade on Max Duggan, so don't ask me about him because you're not going to like what I have to say. And if there was another one, Tanner Morgan, maybe?
Yeah.
That's probably – and none of them will get drafted. They'll be picked up as undrafted free agents.
Right.
And we'll play that game for 15 seconds, and then they'll be gone into the ether.
You are in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville. And, of course, you can see the Sportsocracy everywhere on YouTube. Your top 13 quarterbacks for the 2023 NFL Draft. As I said, we'll be doing position-by-position rankings throughout the draftmas season.
Tomorrow will be fun because we're talking running backs.
Ooh.
There are about 400 of those. That was the hardest list for me to pare down of any position.
I was thinking we want to spread this over 2 days and do a top 26 running backs in the NFL.
Well, I mean, we could do that, but I have a feeling that when we got to day 2 of that, it's almost like the second weekend of the tournament. You should really be I'm here. I'm here. I was not asleep.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is stopped on I-40 westbound between NC 209 and 276. Slow traffic on 240 westbound between US 70 and Haywood Street. 26 eastbound is backed up between 191 and 146. Expect slow traffic on 26 westbound between 280 and 191. The shoulder is closed on 26 eastbound between 191 and 64. And we're still seeing that long-term construction on I-40 between 25 and 2531. I'm Elena Vegsa with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors. You do anything to keep your vehicle happy. Let's make sure it stays running smoothly. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, the right parts are just a click away. When you see the green check, you know that part will fit. Get the right parts at the right price. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
You are invited to dinner with us. Hello, my name is Stan Asher, lead pastor of Connection Point. I want to invite you to come and find hope, encounter truth, and experience love. We invite you to join us every Wednesday evening, 6:15 p.m. for a free meal followed by small groups, life-relevant Bible studies for every age group at 7 p.m. We also have an exciting children's ministry. We are located at 142 Elk Mountain Road, Asheville, North Carolina, 28804. Check us out on the web to learn more at connectionpointcog.org. We'll be looking for you.
The Dell Technologies semi-annual sale starts now with limited quantity deals on select performance PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Save on select Vostro laptops with built-in security features and select Latitude laptops with enhanced privacy, collaboration, and connectivity. Save on select essential accessories plus free shipping and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage? You know, changing your oil with a full synthetic oil like Mobil 1 can help your engine get more miles. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP Extended Life oil filter for only $38.99. Get started on your next job today with the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
When I finally drove the old car into the grave, I knew there was only one place I was going to go. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, home of the family plan. And yes, they treat you like family. I went in, told them what I was looking for, told them my budget, and in no time, I was signing the paperwork on my certified pre-owned vehicle. They have the area's largest selection on quality pre-owned vehicles and certified Nissans. They go through a 167-point inspection, so you know it's not going to let you down. They gave me the Carfax report, so I know the history of my vehicle. And the Fred Anderson family plan gives me things like oil changes and car washes and loaner cars if I have to have major work done on the car in the future. For me, buying a car has always been an intimidating thought. But the folks at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville made it super easy. Don't be like me. Don't wait till the last minute to get a deal done. Go to AndersonNissan.com or stop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to mention we sent you from the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on your trade-in at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
The Sportsocracy.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
It is the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. Coming up in the next hour, we got the Daily Draft. Quarterback talk's not over because the Daily Draft today is going to focus on the quarterback prospects from, the last 5 years?
And this year. So it's 6 total. This is the 6th year.
So this is going all the way back to the 2018 draft.
There you go.
I see why you did this. Yeah. This is just another ploy to talk about your little boyfriend. All right.
Hey, there will be no Sam Darnold slander around this place. you hear me?
The fact that you knew exactly who I was talking about?
Of course I did.
I mean,
there's also the fact that you had 2 high-level prospects in that draft. Just a little point. So I'll tell you exactly. I'm not going to say I stole the idea because we didn't talk about it the same way they did. But PFF did this morning, and I watched them going, I don't think I agreed with one word that came out of your mouth. It's such a great premise, and I'll give you your flowers for doing it. I'm just going to do it and then do it better than you did.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's not ego. It's just, okay.
That's a little ego.
That's stuff.
So Daily Draft, we'll talk about the quarterbacks prospects for this year going all the way back to 2018 so Jeremy can talk about his boyfriend. We also got trade news to get into.
Basically what Elijah Moore just fetched from the Cleveland Browns. If you're an Arizona Cardinal fan, may the odds forever be in your favor.
The Jets adding Mecole Hardman today and then turning around and flipping Elijah Moore to the Cleveland Browns.
I hate it. I'm not ready to talk about it. I'm going to go find my safe space and cry.
Moore and a third-round pick at number 74 overall goes to the Browns in return for the number 42 overall pick. So the Jets trading up in the second round.
Is this what triggered means? Am I triggered right now?
100% you're triggered.
Sweet. Awesome. I don't like this feeling at all. There's a lot of people that live in this that I'm not. I don't understand. It's a lot of anguish. I don't like it.
Right. So the Jets now have the 42nd and 43rd overall picks in this draft, the 43rd of which they will be sending to the Green Bay Packers in the Aaron Rodgers trade.
Correct. Frankly, I don't care if you send them both. Send them both those twos. You want 2 players this year? Cool. You have 2 twos. Bye-bye.
Would that get them more on board?
Probably.
If you offered them 2 twos in 1 year?
Probably. That might have been why this happened. I saw a Jets podcaster hypothesizing that.
But why wouldn't you just send them Elijah Moore?
So there was a rumor about that. Apparently the only player that Green Bay wants is Jermaine Johnson, and that's been a firm no.
Absolutely.
That's been an aggressive that's going to be a no from me, Doug.
Who do you think we are, the Carolina Panthers?
At that time, he said it. Yeah! Now you can fire your tweets at him.
At Sports Tank ESPN. This is the Sportsocracy, and we are in the Ingles Studio as always. You can check us out live on YouTube. We got the Sports Center update coming up in just a few moments. Then after that, the Daily Draft, where we'll talk about the NFL quarterback prospects of the last 6 years.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Temperatures warming up for the end of the business week. Clouds decreasing here tonight as temperatures drop down into the middle part of the 40s. Mix of clouds and sunshine for us on Thursday. It'll be breezy and warmer. Middle to upper 70s tomorrow afternoon. Mix of clouds and sunshine Friday as temperatures top out around 80 in the afternoon. Chance of rain again Friday night into early Saturday. High Saturday, low 70s. Partly cloudy 70 for Sunday. I'm meteorologist Ken Boone at the Weather Channel.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is stopped on I-40 westbound between NC 209 and 276. Slow traffic on 240 westbound between US 70 and Haywood Street. 26 eastbound is backed up between 191 and 146. Expect slow traffic on 26 westbound between 280 and 191. The shoulder is closed on 26 eastbound between 191 and 64. And we're still seeing that long-term construction on I-40 between 25 and 2531. I'm Elena Vegso with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech. Today's forecast says it's a great day to stay in the loop on COVID-19. Sign up now for reliable information on COVID-19 and a vaccine option, resources, and more at PfizerCovid19.com. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech. Planning for an upcoming trip? It's important to know that updated COVID-19 boosters are currently available at no cost to you. Remember that immunity could take time to build. Check eligibility and schedule at vaccines.gov. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
And I'm more of what baseball
The Sportsocracy.
The ceiling is the roof. Let's make it happen. Let's keep moving forward.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Developing story. Clippers guard Paul George diagnosed with a sprained knee, out at least 2 weeks. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports he'll be reevaluated in 2 to 3 weeks. George is one of 2 players LA can't afford to be without for an extended period of time, believes First Take host Stephen A. Smith.
Paul George with Kawhi Leonard. When one of them is missing, all right, and in this case it's Paul George, it just seems like all their hopes just plummet. You would like to believe that one of them could hold down the fort to get you beyond the play-in, to get you to the first round, even beyond the first round. But I don't look at this Clippers team as being that kind of team that can pull that off.
Grizzlies point guard John Morant is expected to return tonight versus the Rockets. He's back with the team after completing an 8-game suspension from the NBA for conduct detrimental to the league. NFL adding draft capital for a potential trade for quarterback Aaron Rodgers. The Jets sent receiver Elijah Moore and a 2023 third-round pick to the Browns for a second-round pick. Rodgers last week expressed his intention to play for the Jets this season.
A championship team is about each player being a perfect fit. Same with your vehicle. So for parts that fit, head to eBay Motors and look for the green check. Stay in the game with eBay Guaranteed Fit. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy, third hour of the program here on a Wednesday afternoon. It is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. Sportsocracy heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. And of course, you can see us, follow us live, comment with the show. On YouTube, just go to thesportsocracy.com, click that live video link, subscribe to the channel so you can get into the chat with us, and also get those alerts whenever we are live here in the studio, and have in your little feed all those little team-by-team 3-round mock draft videos pop up for you as you're missing us when we're not live here in the Ingles Studio.
It's really ironic that I'm getting married just 2 weeks after the draft. It almost feels like that might have been a plan.
No.
Almost like we did that on purpose. Because then Jeremy is going to be scarce for a while.
So today in the daily draft, we do this at the top of the third hour of the program, most days. And today Jeremy wants to talk about the quarterback draft prospects from the last 6 years. It couldn't be 5 years. It had to be 6 years so he could get one specific guy mentioned in this little exercise.
Well, that's not actually why I did it. The reason I did it, and it was what I noticed as I was listening to PFF talk about this earlier today, was that 2 of those classes were duties.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes it really hard if you're going to go all the way to 12, which is what we do. So, I mean, did it work out nicely that there is a specific Lego fireman that I really want to talk about?
Maybe so.
But he would have been
We'll
drafted.
never know.
He would have been drafted early, regardless.
Anyhow, let's get into it here. I have the first pick, which this is.
And I felt like that was an advantage for you because I have numeric grades for all of these guys, so it was real easy for me to just go back and go boop, 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 boop.
Yeah, but I also feel like picking first, you're at a disadvantage. Because, I mean, there are only so many at the very top you can get, and I would like to have two rather than one. But I'll take the number one overall pick, the number one overall prospect since Andrew Luck. It's Trevor Lawrence.
No doubt. The highest-rated quarterback I've had in the time I've been doing this.
How many times did Jeremy have to scold me in 2021's draft process for saying can't miss prospect? I heard that over and over and over again, but he was the closest you'd ever seen.
Mm-hmm. He's the highest-rated quarterback I've ever had. And now the reason that we're doing this is the premise is basically if every quarterback that's been drafted in the last 6 years, this year included, were in the same draft, how would you have taken them going in? How are they as prospects? So for me, like Lamar Jackson's not even in the discussion because I didn't view him as quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a revisionist history. It's as what they were valued as prospects. Trevor Lawrence, there is literally nothing. So the Godfather offer that the Panthers gave to the Chicago Bears, there was nothing that the Jacksonville Jaguars would even listen to.
No.
This is our guy. You don't have enough to get up here and get him. And that's kind of the point of this exercise. And he has served to be that. It took an extra year because he had Urban Meyer the first year. But he is that generational quarterback prospect. And now I want to ask you this. What's he worth? Let's say one of these teams goes rogue and just what would we give to make Jacksonville even acknowledge us? I've asked this question to a couple people around the league.
I would say 2 Pro Bowl level players and 3 first-rounders.
You get laughed out of the building.
Really?
Laughed out of the building. Starts at 5-1s and your best player.
Holy smokes. Okay.
One of them said it would be 8 first-rounders. So that's what hitting this actually means.
Right.
Because you've still got 2 more years of him on a rookie deal, plus that third-year option where he's going to be reasonably expensive, but not as expensive as he will be after that. So if you get this right, you're set up for half a decade. Now, you took what I feel to be the very obvious one as Trevor Lawrence. I'm going to take what I value to be the second really obvious one, which is Joe Burrow.
Yes.
The Miami Dolphins, when Burrow was taken in 2020, the Dolphins, who had 5, offered them 5, 2 more ones, and a player, and Cincinnati laughed them out of the room. It was never discussed again. That became a really big trade talks like that, and I've learned this since we've been doing radio. Trade talks like that are almost like government documents. They become declassified after a while, and people will just tell you exactly what happened, mainly because most of those people have either been fired or moved on to other teams, and there's no loyalty left. Those are the 2 A-plus, no-doubt prospects we've had.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you got to the same conclusion I did. It's the only 2 we've had. It's the only 2 we've had in 6 years.
Yeah.
So over the course of the last 6 years, everything else has been guesswork to the highest degree.
Absolutely.
I want to ask you who your next one would be, but obviously I'm going to learn that when you pick because I have a funny feeling my answer and yours are not the same.
Well, if it's your Lego fireman, it's not the same.
Nope. But I will tell you, he's not far off.
Okay.
It's Bryce Young.
Really?
Bryce Young is my 3. This is why I wanted to talk about this, because as I went down the rabbit hole, I started realizing I would not take Sam Darnold over him. I obviously wouldn't take CJ. I had questions about every other quarterback prospect to some point. The only question I have about Bryce Young is his size.
Mm-hmm.
And he is so smart on a football field and so good at avoiding hits, I'm not so sure I care. And as I went down it surprised me to a point. I knew he would be high, but all I did was pull my draft grades going into the draft, because I do all of the numeric ratings have been done for a minute with me.
Mm-hmm.
When I go in on draft night, I have them 1 to 300 in front of us. Bryce Young has the third highest numeric grade I've given to a quarterback in the last 6 years. He has the fifth highest one I've ever given, period. And I feel like we touched on this in the first hour. I feel like we've gotten to a point where what he did on the field has become diminished.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all because of things that happened in his underwear. Oh, he only measured 5'10". Yeah, that didn't stop him from winning in Alabama. Didn't stop him from being a high-level quarterback in the closest thing to the NFL that we've ever had. Because I'm going to level with you. If the SEC broke loose and decided to start playing professional football, they would kill every team in the XFL. That's how bad the talent is and how much of the talent is reserved for the NFL.
Right.
That's how bad the talent pool is diluted.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so he won there, but you're telling me because, well, he's only 205 pounds. Well, CJ Stroud's only 10 pounds heavier. Drew Brees was smaller than that for 20 years in a much bigger, more violent, more physical league, and he was just fine.
Okay. All right, my next pick here in the daily draft, looking at the quarterback prospects since 2018. Again, this is not knowing what happens in the NFL. This is just strictly seeing them as they came out in college.
There's a name that if you don't say it, I'm going to call you a liar.
It's Tua Tagovailoa.
There it is. That's him telling the truth.
It's Tua Tagovailoa. I was so enamored with Tua. It was only because Joe Burrow had the record-breaking season that he had in 2020 that Tua wasn't still the number one quarterback available in that class. We heard all of the injury issues. Oh, the hip. He's had, he's been dinged up. He's missed games. Size is size matters. All of that. But still,
if people were taking a shot every time you use that phrase today, they'd be legally dead by now.
Mm-hmm. I think about the prospect and looking ahead to the 2020 draft. It was all tank for Tua. It was every team in the league is going to do their worst so they can try to get Tua. And then Joe, I don't want to say he came out of nowhere.
He came out of nowhere.
He did.
He came out of nowhere.
I mean, he was a transfer quarterback from Ohio State who had 1 year starting at LSU. Nobody could tell that the 2020 season was going to happen, that it was going to be that good. I remember saying on this program that I kind of like that kid from LSU. What's his name? Joe Burrow. Yeah, that's his name. That's how we were talking about him.
Well, now here's the thing.
Into the 2020 season, coming out of the 2020 season, it was if you don't draft this guy number one overall, you're an idiot.
Yeah, here's the funny thing. He didn't have 1 year starting at LSU. He started for 2 years. And people forget that constantly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He started his junior year.
Oh, then you just said that strangely.
Okay.
Or I may have faded out for a minute.
Yeah, he had 1 year under his belt going into the season.
He played 28 games in college.
Right.
He was a completely different quarterback, though. He was a middling to bad quarterback his junior year. Shows up his senior year, and he was unbelievable. Unbelievable. But he was so good that it took away all of the – for me, it took away all of the questions.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm glad you said Tua, and I'm not going to lie. I set you up to do this.
Okay. That's
the other part of Bryce that irks me. Who's the number one receiver on that team?
On what team?
On Tua Tagovailoa's Alabama team. Who do you have to throw to?
Devontae Smith.
And?
The other one.
Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, thank you, Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, that's two high-level top 10 pick receivers in the NFL, right? Who's Bryce Young's number one receiver?
Jackson Smith and J-Boo.
Bryce Young's?
Oh, Bryce Young. I thought you said C.J. Stroud.
Did you have a stroke at some point in the last 12 minutes?
I think I did.
Okay. I also had Henry Ruggs, who we completely put out of our own minds.
Bryce Young's
Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah.
That's probably the best receiver
he had on
that team.
He had. Jermaine Burton.
So I could say literally everything I say about Will Levis, except he was sitting behind a bad offensive line with Bryce Young, because they haven't had the high-level weapons. He had Jamison Williams for a year. Mm-hmm. And then away he goes to the NFL, and it's a whole lot of Jermaine Burton. Yeah, he's still a high-level quarterback. Still almost took this team to the playoff with no weapons whatsoever. Mm-hmm. And a secondary that in large part let them down over the course of the year. I just don't get it. I don't really know what people want more. I was not as high on Tua as you were. I remember doing the draft show from the bunker.
I was crazy on Tua.
One of the days that I go back to and go, man, I'm glad less people listen to us when I said this. I told you I would take Justin Herbert over Tua Tagovailoa, and we went back and forth. And at the very end, I said, now, to be clear, I don't really like either one of them. Yeah, if I could take that out, the rest of that was just pure genius.
Right.
But I had Justin Herbert ahead of Tua Tagovailoa.
Mm-hmm. My third pick in today's daily draft will be coming up after the break, because I got to take a break. I got to think about this for a second, because I'm stuck on two names here, and I don't know if I want to do that thing where I just ruin Jeremy's chances to do this little experiment so he can have his guy, or should I take the other one? So I'll think about it during the break. We'll come back and talk past 6-year prospects at the quarterback position in the NFL draft next.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is stopped on I-40 westbound due to an accident between 209 and 276. Heavy traffic on 240 westbound between Chuns Cove Road and Haywood Street. Slow traffic on 26 westbound between NC 280 and 191. 26 eastbound is backed up between 191 and 146. The shoulder is closed due to construction on 26 eastbound between 191 and 64. And long-term construction on 40 both east and westbound between 25 and 2531. I'm Elena Vegso with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance can protect your small business with over 30 coverage options, an easy-to-use mobile app, personalized discounts, and more. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Josh, quote, "After walking around my whole life being a mouth breather, I was excited to try Navage. I read the directions carefully, pressed the button, and oh my gosh, what a sensation. So much mucus, so much crud, but oh sweet, merciful air, I can finally breathe you through my nose. Never have I ever taken such an amazing breath in my life. This is a life changer," unquote. He's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
Did you know that Ingles sells more organics than any other grocery store? Or that they run their own dairy? Or that they only serve USDA Choice and Prime meat? Or that they donate 3,956 meals a day to local food banks? Well, now you do. It's all in the bag.
Tired of getting dinged by monthly fees on your checking account? You need Simple Checking from Home Trust Bank. With Simple Checking, you get all the essential checking services for free, including 100% online access and a free Visa debit card. It's everything you need from a checking account, but no hoops, no surprises, no monthly fees. Stop by today or call 800-627-1632. Simple Checking at Home Trust. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelley Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
The Sportsocracy.
Pull up your pants, take off the bra, and be a man.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy. We're in the midst of the daily draft here.
We got Tank a cookie in the break and a juice box, and he's back to normal now.
It's all good. It's all good.
I had a chocolate coaster because I'm trying to lose weight for my wedding. It was not wonderful.
A chocolate. Those things aren't that bad. I don't know why you call them that.
My flip-flop it has more moisture in it than that chocolate coaster does.
I'm going to say that's what a lie sounds
That's
like.
a granola. It's like a chocolate chunk granola. Ugh.
They're good.
I mean, they're fine. I wish it was covered in chocolate.
You wish it was a kudos bar instead
but
of...
I think that kind of defeats the purpose. We put chocolate chips in it so it was edible.
Today's daily draft is talking about the quarterback prospects of the last 6 years, including this year, going back to 2018. Where would we take these guys? Not knowing, this is not a hindsight is 2020 kind of a thing. This is going into the draft. Where would you have to take these guys if they were all in the same class and we were just looking at their college prospects or their pro prospects coming out of college? Obviously, Trevor was number 1. Joe Burrow's number 2. Then Jeremy goes Bryce Young at 3. And then I had to go Tua Tagovailoa because, to me it was Trevor, Joe, Tua. Those were the top 3 of the drafts that have already happened in the last few years.
Tua, just for posterity's sake, if you take out the guys in this class, was my 5.
Mm-hmm.
6, sorry.
He was your 6?
He was my 6.
Really?
Well, I've already told you I had Herbert ahead of him, and the rest of it I am not at liberty to discuss until you make another selection.
I did not. I did not have Justin Herbert ahead of Tua Tagovailoa that year, and I don't have Justin Herbert next on my list. I was not a big Justin Herbert fan coming out of college. I thought of all of those quarterbacks, or of the top 3 quarterbacks in that draft class, he was going to be the no doubt bust. Now, Justin Herbert is obviously the number 2 behind Joe Burrow, and Tua looks like the bust.
Depending on injuries.
Depending on how the health
If he's
goes.
healthy,
Right.
then he's fine.
Sure. So, my next pick here, I thought about ruining this little experiment for Jeremy, but I'm not going to.
Well, I have 3 quarterbacks that were all 3 rated almost exactly the same.
But I'm actually going to go down the path of the drum that I've been beating so far this offseason, this draft season.
You're going C.J. Stroud.
C.J. Stroud.
Wow.
He's my 3. I mean, of the guys so I guess he's my 5 overall of the guys we're talking about. I do not feel like the talent difference is that great between C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young. Do I like Bryce better? Yes.
He was my 8, just so we're clear.
But I feel like CJ is a good quarterback. He's got plenty of potential. And I think the Carolina Panthers will kick themselves if they don't do this.
You may very well be right. You made that much more difficult on me than I wanted it to be. Because, as I said, I have 3 here that I had very close to each other. So I'm going to take the one that was the most highly rated, which is Sam Darnold.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Sam was going to be an absolute stud in this league. I'm still not sure that he won't be now that he's being coached by an actual NFL staff for the first time in 5 years. That was a shot at Matt Rule, not at the Panthers.
Right.
Stop adding me. Good Lord have mercy. And the other one, I just got to be honest, is Josh Allen.
I'm trying to rack my brain. I don't remember you being head over heels for Josh Allen.
then you didn't pay a lot of attention, because I was terrified that the Browns were taking Darnold at 1. And I liked Allen a lot. I had some reservation. I basically said the exact same things about Josh Allen that I'm saying about Will Levis now, of it could go fantastically. The Jets staff at the time really made me nervous. So I probably didn't wax poetic about it with the Jets, because I was dead sold on Sam Darnold. But it was, for me, in that class, it was Sam 1, Josh Allen 2, 58 pounds of garbage, and then I would avoid Lamar, Baker Mayfield, and Josh Rosen with everything I had.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have served to be wrong on Lamar Jackson. The other two, I will take my 66% winning percentage and go home.
All right, the last two picks of the daily draft for me. Look at the quarterback prospects from this year and the previous 5 years. I mean, it's Kyler Murray. He was the only thing. He was the only quarterback on the board in that 2019 draft. Daniel Jones went after him to the New York Giants, and we laughed.
Secret time? I didn't have Kyler Murray on my board.
The Washington Commanders, or excuse me, yeah. The Washington Commanders went Dwayne Haskins at 15, which we all laughed at hilariously. But Kyler Murray was the best guy of that class. And you look at the rest of the quarterbacks on here, I had him above pretty much all of the rest of them. And then my last pick's Justin Herbert. Because while I was not convinced that he was going to be great at the next level, again, I go, what's left?
I'm almost shocked that you didn't take Zach Wilson there, because you liked him better than you liked Justin Herbert, from what I remember.
I may have, but I still wasn't sold on it. I mean, my biggest thing with him was always
just
BYU.
railed on Justin Herbert.
I did, because I thought he was overrated. I thought it was more of a Pac-12 thing, blah, 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 blah. Obviously, I was wrong. I'm a big man to admit when I'm wrong. But Zach Wilson, I didn't get it. I really didn't. I mean, he was good at BYU.
He had a big arm.
Great. Not real thrilled. Or I wasn't real thrilled about him. It was Trevor Lawrence, and then I'm not taking a quarterback in that class. Pretty much the same way 2019 was with Kyler Murray. If I'm drafting a quarterback, I got to get Kyler Murray. If I'm not, I'll just sit it out and I'll wait for another year to roll around.
All right, so that means I've got 2 picks here back to back.
Well, you got one. You got your. We usually just do 1 through 5.
What? Have we gone that far?
Yeah.
Oh, we have.
Yeah.
We have.
Yeah. I mean, we can do a UDFA if you want.
I do.
I do because I got 2 left.
I do. All right, I'll be legit here. Zach Wilson. He would be my 10. I've got 2 guys that were tied with him. I liked Zach's arm a lot. I still like Zach's arm. Unfortunately, he's got $1 million arm and a 10-cent brain, and a 10-cent work ethic, from what I've been told. That doesn't change the prospect that he was. A lot of people go back and bang on the Jets of, oh, yeah, how could you be so stupid? Yeah, let me be really honest with you. San Francisco called the Jets before they called Miami, and they were after Zach Wilson, too. Mm-hmm. So this is not look how stupid the Jets are. No, there were a lot of teams that were lined up to do that. So does that mean I get my UDFA first?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to break your heart then, because it's Sam Howell.
Should have known that was coming.
Yeah, and I only really did that because he's tied with another guy for me.
He was the only one left on my list. I did a top 10 list, and I went, if I get 5 of these guys, I'm going to be happy. Sam Howell was the last one that was on that list. If I got to go for a UDFA here, I mean, let's go with
path of least resistance. Don't forget there's a class that's not on the screen you're looking at.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it would be Will Levis.
That's who it was for me.
I mean,
I said I had 2. Will Levis was the other one.
Yeah. Will Levis probably comes in at number 12 for me on the past 5 years. Strongly considered someone else there, but
who's the someone else?
You couldn't. No, I mean like anyone. I'm looking for someone. I'm
anyone
actively,
else.
Anyone
Can
else?
Can I say any name here that's not Will Levis?
No, nobody showed up. Nobody showed up.
Trey Lance was the only other name on my list.
See, you talked me into Trey Lance. You showed me all the film on Trey Lance, showed me all the good things, and I went, yeah, that's pretty good. And I always had one big thing about him. I would never touch him with a 10-foot pole. And it's not just because of, well, he went to North Dakota State. I get it. There have been good quarterbacks that come out of schools like that before. Mm-hmm. It was the fact that he didn't have any experience. I mean, you started 7 games. Right. It was not good. So I never would have gotten there with him. All right. So, Jeremy, you got Sam Darnold mentioned on the program today. Congratulations by you.
That worked nicely. That worked exactly how I wanted it to.
Indeed, the Draftmas season continues to roll on here in the Sportsocracy. Don't forget, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're going to have 3-round mock drafts, team by team, in the draft order, coming out over the coming days here in the Sportsocracy. So all of Jeremy's prognostications of who you need to have, who your team needs to have in the first 3 rounds of the NFL draft coming your way on the YouTube channel.
It's also the Trademas season. And after the break, we'll talk about some names that are bouncing around the NFL.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Temperatures warming up for the end of the business week. Clouds decreasing here tonight as temperatures drop down into the middle part of the 40s. Mix of clouds and sunshine for us on Thursday. It'll be breezy and warmer. Middle to upper 70s tomorrow afternoon. Mix of clouds and sunshine Friday as temperatures top out around 80 in the afternoon. Chance of rain again Friday night into early Saturday. High Saturday, low 70s. Partly cloudy 70 for Sunday. I'm meteorologist Ken Boone at the Weather Channel.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
The left lane is blocked due to an accident, and traffic is stopped on 26 westbound between NC 280 and NC 146. Traffic is also stopped due to an accident on 40 westbound between 209 and 276. Heavy traffic on 240 westbound between Chuns Cove Road and Haywood Street. The right lane is blocked due to an accident on 25 southbound between I-40 and Rock Hill Lane, and slow traffic on 26 eastbound between 191 and 146. I'm Elena Vegso with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance flexes to fit your business needs, from quick repairs to adjustable coverages and even payment options. Progressive Commercial makes it easy to get what you need. Quote today in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Cookie wants to be a professional wrestler.
I'm Cookie Serratos and I'm 11 years old.
She also wants to win all the medals. That's why Cookie and her family make every day count, squeezing out her best with Go-Go Squeeze.
Okay, Cookie, let's break for a Go-Go Squeeze.
Go-Go Squeeze Fruit on the Go pouches are a nutritious snack made from 100% fruit with no sugar added.
Go, Cookie!
Because when you nurture your kids, you squeeze out the best in them. Squeeze out the best with Go-Go Squeeze. Not a low-calorie food. Products range from 11 to 13 grams of sugar and 60 to 70 calories per serving.
The Atlanta Braves are back, and this 2023 team is ready for another epic season.
1-1 pitch. There's a deep drive to left center field. This thing is clear for takeoff. Back-to-back home runs, Ozuna and Riley.
Next Thursday afternoon, it's the 2023 season opener live from Washington, D.C. as the Atlanta Braves open the season against the Nationals. Braves Radio goes on the air at 11:50 Eastern, 10:50 Central on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
It is the Sportsocracy, and it's time for the most important message of the day.
Don't do crimes!
Yeah, especially don't do crimes if you've given people a reason to think that there could be crimes in your future.
Oh, I know this story. I've almost told this story 2 days in a row.
If you don't know the name Timothy Bleefnick, I don't blame you. No one should really know that name other than his family and friends, although he doesn't have many friends left, I'm sure, after,
crimes.
Well, crimes have taken place. Timothy Bleefnick, he once was a contestant in January of 2020 on Family Feud. And on the Family Feud, you know how they do. They like to joke around, and they ask all these off-the-wall questions. And one of the questions that was asked to him during the show, Steve Harvey said, "What's the biggest mistake you made at your wedding?" And his response was, as he looked down the dais at his lovely wife, said, "Honey, I love you, but I said I do." Well, that's not something you say on national television.
Mm-mm.
No. He said, "I love my wife. I'm going to get in trouble for that, aren't I?" And she, yes, you are. But you know what gets you in more trouble? Is when 3 years later, you're wanted for murder. Yeah, Timothy Bleefnick has been arrested and accused of killing his wife, who he once went on national television not long after they were married and said, "Yeah, saying I do was the worst thing that I ever did."
Yeah, that's I feel like that can be used at the trial.
Oh, 100%. Of how long has he been thinking about this? Probably since before they went on the Family Feud. I would never have the stones to say something like that on national television.
No, well, I mean, I know your wife. She would absolutely just beat you senseless.
Right.
And I would cheer it on as it happened.
Police had to search for a body in a lagoon on Timothy's property. I will say this, though. From how he looked back in 2020 compared to his mugshot from being accused of murdering his wife, he went to the Jeremy Greene School of Hair.
Oh, yeah. He looks oddly like me now because he has a mullet that was up in a lovely man bun, if I remember correctly.
not in the mugshot that I'm looking at.
I don't think what I saw was the mugshot.
Strewn over his shoulder like Fabio on one of those covers of the romance novels.
Oh, you mean like what happens when I go home and just let it down? It's wonderful.
Didn't need to know that.
We have long said that Tank would not fare well in jail.
Never.
I believe I have found a story of someone that would be absolutely as gullible as Tank in jail.
Oh, really?
Story comes from Newport News, Virginia.
Okay.
All right. I have a phrase for teams that should run the ball.
Yeah.
If you break out of prison, what should you do? Run the damn away! 2 men in Newport News did not do that. They broke out of their jail cell. They were apparently cellmates. One was 37, one is 43. They were in the Newport News jail annex. Well, head count came around Monday morning, and the 2 men did not appear. So they go to their cell, and a preliminary investigation found that the men exploited a weakness in the jail's construction design and used tools made from a toothbrush and another metal object to access rebar between the walls.
So they tunneled through like Andy Dufresne.
100%. They went full Andy Dufresne. There is a perfect hole that looks exactly like Shawshank Redemption. So apparently they break the rebar out of the wall. They use that to break down the next wall. They escape. All right, so now they are wanted, dead or alive. Thank you, John Bon Jovi. Where would you go? Like, you break out of jail.
I mean, I don't know. But I feel like I would, if I didn't already know this and do the planning, I would probably go to a computer and Google non-extradition treaties.
That would make far more sense than where these two men went. They went to IHOP. And apparently
I need a good pancake after so many years in jail.
And apparently, when they were not present at head count, there was a television at the lovely IHOP that flashed up a picture of these two gents, and the people in the IHOP went, "Oh wait, they're right there."
They didn't question why
they're
they
eating
were
pancakes.
Why they were wearing jailhouse oranges.
They're eating pancakes right there. Call somebody. The sheriff said this reinforces what we always say of see something, say something. And then I got to the bottom of this article, and I realized that one of these guys is not real bright. Like, neither one's probably a rocket surgeon. One of them was being held on charges of credit card fraud, forgery, grand larceny, and a probation violation. I'm doing simple math and going, this guy's next 10 years are probably pretty planned out.
Okay.
The other one was in custody on charges of contempt of court.
That's like a 30-day sentence.
That's like,
at most.
I gotta say, I'm sorry for telling the judge to. None of the things I wanted to say right there were FCC applicable.
Good for you.
And I tried. I set that up with such a buildup. How do you get convinced of, hey, what are you in for? Well, I defrauded the government and stole a bunch of people's credit cards and we'll be here forever. What are you in for? I told a judge to have sex with himself. And I have to say, sorry. You want to break out of here? I'm almost through the wall. Let's go.
I mean, how long could your sentence have been?
30 days.
That was it?
I mean, it's contempt of court.
I was going to say, that's all I ever
usually contempt of court is you have to go say you're sorry, or there is some judgment against you and you have to pay an amount to get out. It's one or the other. So one of them was here for a long, long time.
Right.
One of them was here for like a weekend. And the only thing I could think is the only person I know that would be looking at like 48 hours in jail and go, I have to break out of here. Boom.
That's me. That's 100% me. Because I'm such a helpful guy when somebody, in the jail goes, hey, could you pick that up for me? I'd go, sure, buddy. Hey, wait a minute.
Yeah, Stephen Towner YouTube comment said rocket surgeon. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
They perform open heart rocket surgery.
Don't do crimes.
Don't do crimes.
No.
Especially not when you've already done crimes. And the first crime was little, and the second crime is a lot.
All right, let's hop on the trade wagon here for a minute in the NFL because we got rumors circulating around. I guess what is the latest on DeAndre Hopkins? We're hearing that this could happen at any moment.
I am hearing that DeAndre Hopkins could be traded at any moment. I do look at what the Jets just got for Elijah Moore, excuse me.
Moore. Yeah.
I look at what they got for him, and it gives me a great reservation of you're getting a second-round pick for him. I'm not so sure that. He is very well paid. It's $29-something million that he's going to have to restructure, and I think the lowest you can get is down to like $18.9.
Mm-hmm.
He's in his 30s. He's already had injury issues. So I could easily see this being a third-round pick. I'm still hearing the Chiefs on a daily basis. Des Bryant came out and said it wouldn't shock me if Odell Beckham Jr. and DeAndre Hopkins went to the Chiefs.
Wow.
That would be a doozy of a receiving core.
Absolutely.
So I think something's going to happen with DeAndre by the end of the week. I had been told 48 hours yesterday, and then we got a receiver trade today, and it wasn't the one I was expecting.
No, it was your team getting rid of Elijah Moore.
A young guy that was cheap, and I liked a lot. And now he's going to go to Cleveland and probably make it 10 Pro Bowls. Because Jets.
Maybe so. DeAndre Hopkins could be on the move here shortly. Also, the Denver Broncos have been is it true or false they've been shopping Jerry Jeudy? But why?
Well, this is one of those stories where you have to read past the fold. All right, that's an old newspaper term for you bury all the things you don't want people to look at underneath the fold because most people don't get that far. And that seems to be what's happening with Jerry Jeudy. Yes, Denver has had talks. New England is the team apparently that has called the most. They don't like the compensation because the Broncos want a first-round pick for Jerry Jeudy, and that's just not going to happen. You got a guy that's 2 years in. I mean, yes, he's a good player, but no, you're not getting that level of comp for a guy that's pushing up against a fifth-year option.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't make sense. I mean, I like Jeudy. I like Jeudy coming out. And I think Sean Payton's looking at this receiving core going, one of these guys is expendable with how I'm going to play because we're going to run the ball a lot.
Mm-hmm.
If we can recoup some draft capital, then fine, but we're not going to just give him away. Jerry Jeudy has been trending on Twitter since, I think, the middle of last week. There's no traction. Nothing is imminent. This is one of those times of, yes, they would love to make a deal, but only at their price.
Mm-hmm.
It's not they're urgently trying to make a deal to get him out of town. If they have to mend fences and sing Kumbaya, they will.
The most the team that was most critical mass to trade for Jerry Jeudy reportedly before today was the Cleveland Browns. Now I can't imagine that they're still in the hunt for. They've been linked with DeAndre Hopkins. They had been linked with Jerry Jeudy, and now after the Elijah Moore trade, they're out. So I don't know who's left. Like you said, the Patriots. Anybody else in that market for Jerry Jeudy?
That would be in on Jerry Jeudy? If I was just spitballing here. At a first-round pick, nobody's in. A team that I would say keep an eye on would be the Seattle Seahawks. If I had to guess a second, I mean, Carolina's going to call on any receiver, but they don't have the capital. They would be so far off capital-wise that I don't even know if that's worth talking about. You would be more in on Cortland Sutton, who they've also shopped. If I had to say another one, I don't feel like the Giants could go without making at least a call.
Mm-hmm.
But, it gets difficult with receivers. You've got so many in this draft class that come – Rich Cimini just said this New York Jets beat writer of team control, low cost. It just kills the value of a receiver when they're halfway through the rookie deal because I don't want to have to pay these guys. College football is currently doing an unbelievable job of giving us 5 high-level receivers a year, 15 more contributors a year, and we do this every single year. So to find a deal like that for Jeudy, I don't find that likely.
Also thought the reports were interesting that the Broncos were apparently in on Adam Thielen and Allen Lazard.
They were.
Which begs the question of...
Oh, this is not hard to figure out.
Of why? What does Sean Payton
think about
have
Sean
against...
Payton's think about Sean Payton's banner years with the New Orleans Saints. He likes a receiver that can block.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Thielen and Lazard both can do that. And I'll go ahead and tell you. And I'll go ahead and tell you, if the New York Jets cut Corey Davis, the Denver Broncos will be all over it. All over it.
And you still think that's likely?
Cutting Corey Davis?
Mm-hmm.
No. I mean, with the Jets at this point, I have no idea. You know what? At this point, we're just trying to acquiesce Aaron Rodgers. So, whatever. Call Aaron. Maybe he's doing the Pat McAfee show at some point this week, and we can find out what the Jets are getting ready to do.
Find out what his plans are. I got you. I mean, keeping Corey Davis seems like a decent option now after the Elijah Moore trade.
Well, I mean, with him and Lazard, you would have you'd have 2 of the 4 best blocking receivers in the NFL. So, I mean, I'm okay with it. Cap-wise, it probably gets a little difficult. But
all right, also on the trade market, it's Jonah Williams. He wants to be a left tackle somewhere. He's upset that the Cincinnati Bengals don't want him to be a left tackle, or they have told him you can't be our left tackle anymore.
No, because we wouldn't sign Orlando Brown, who's a legit left tackle, and you're not.
Mm-hmm. But he wants out because he doesn't have the primo spot.
Correct.
So where does he go?
Well, I can tell you that there have been a litany of calls. From what I was told this morning, the Bengals are actively negotiating with a handful of teams. I love a handful because it could be anything between 2 and 31. So I can't tell you how many it is. I feel like a team is going to try to bring him in as a right tackle. The thing I don't understand is, okay, if that's the case, then why do I not just do that in Cincinnati? Cut Lyle Collins. He's on a deal that we can get out of for virtually nothing. So I think the Jonah Williams thing is going to be a little bit harder than people think, because I can't figure out who's so desperate to have a left tackle that they would look at him, who is, I'm going to say middle of the road because I'm in a good mood, and I have to give up draft capital. I mean, there's been a rumor floating that the Bengals would be willing to ship him to the Jets for Mekhi Becton. I mean, that's a boomer bust deal, and I'm not really sure whose side of that I would like better. Becton's a better player. He's just never healthy. So, I mean, that's one to watch, and that has gotten louder over the course of the day. So I wouldn't be shocked if it was something with the Jets. They're a very active team now because everything's prices come down. And now they feel really good about Aaron Rodgers, and that's where you're at.
Do you, though? Do you feel really good about Aaron Rodgers?
Until I see him actively wearing Jet attire, I will believe nothing.
I saw the headline earlier today of they cleared another $13 million in cap space. Ready to believe it yet? Jeremy says no.
No.
He's not going to believe it until it's signed, sealed, delivered, and he sees Aaron Rodgers on the Pat McAfee show wearing a Jets hat.
Until I am actively watching the press conference and Aaron Rodgers is at it, I am nope. I do not buy it.
You are in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
The left lane is blocked due to an accident, and traffic is stopped on 26 westbound between NC 280 and NC 146. Heavy traffic on 26 eastbound between 191 and 146. The shoulder is blocked due to an accident on 240 westbound at Haywood Street. 40 westbound is backed up between 209 and 276. Slow traffic on 240 westbound between Chunks Cove Road and Haywood Street. And the right lane is blocked due to an accident on 25 southbound between I-40 and Rock Hill Lane. I'm Elena Vegso with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance can protect your small business with over 30 coverage options, an easy-to-use mobile app, personalized discounts, and more. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
Join us to celebrate the songs and artists you've loved over the past year.
At our 2023 iHeartRadio Music Awards.
Hosted by Lenny Kravitz.
With Innovator Award recipient Taylor Swift.
And performances by iHeart Icon Award recipient Pink, Coldplay, Kelly Clarkson, LL Cool J, Keith Urban, Pat Benatar, and Neil Giraldo, Lotto, Money Long, Cody Johnson, and more.
Watch on Fox and listen on iHeartRadio.
Monday night at 8 p.m.
You are invited to dinner with us. Hello, my name is Stan Asher, lead pastor of Connection Point. I want to invite you to come and find hope, encounter truth, and experience love. We invite you to join us every Wednesday evening, 6:15 p.m. for a free meal followed by small groups, life-relevant Bible studies for every age group at 7 p.m. We also have an exciting children's ministry. We are located at 142 Elk Mountain Road, Asheville, North Carolina, 28804. Check us out on the web to learn more at connectionpointcog.org. We'll be looking for you.
Don't let allergies keep you down. Call the Cleaning Pros. Zero Res Air Duct Cleaning to remove the dust from your home. Right now, when you mention ESPN Asheville, you'll get $30 off your next air duct cleaning. Use promo code AIR30 when scheduling online at ZeroResAsheville.com.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Running a small business is no small task. At Home Trust Bank, we work hard to prepare businesses for whatever tomorrow may bring. Your dreams are our business, and we have local experts who can help you plan for a successful future. Dependable guidance you need and service you'll appreciate. At Home Trust Bank, we take your small business banking personally. Visit your local Home Trust branch or anytime at htb.com. Member FDIC.
There's a lot of talk about heroes these days.
Hey, buddy, you want to go fishing?
mission. The folks in the funny outfits with superpowers and spandex.
All right, buddy. Let me help you.
But at Ingles, we know that a lot of our heroes
Now you look like a pro.
are a little closer to home. They're the ones who give us what we need for those everyday adventures. That's why we look up to the ones who look out for us.
Don't forget your fish food. Catch a big one.
Ingles.
See you later, Dad.
All
Bye.
the ingredients for family.
The Sportsocracy.
That is some good, clean family fun there, eh, Kai?
And we've got news on the potential sale of the Washington Commanders, as we've got a new player that has jumped into the bidding here for the Washington franchise that's allegedly being sold.
Oh, it's
nearly going to be sold. However you want to put that right now. Canadian billionaire Steve Apostolopoulos. I hope I'm saying that correctly. If not, I'm sure someone will correct me.
I called him Apostolopoulos, so I'm going to go with, I'd say you probably have a better chance at being right than I do.
I think it's Apostolopoulos, but he is a Canadian billionaire. He's the founder of Six Ventures Incorporated, which is a private equity venture fund. He is Canadian, born in Toronto, attended Harvard, and contributes to a wide variety of philanthropic organizations. Not only is he now a bidder for the Washington Commanders, but he is also one of the first names that came up when Michael Jordan put his controlling interest in the Charlotte Hornets out there.
But he has turned his attention to the Commanders, according to sources.
Because he goes, I got a chance to buy a controlling stock of an NBA team or an NFL team. Which one are you going to focus on first?
I will give you billions of dollars for that one.
Exactly. I'm going billions in the hole for the Washington Commanders. I will go $1 billion in the hole for the Charlotte Hornets.
The strongest group for the Commanders is Josh Harris, the owner of the 76ers and the Devils. He's got Mitchell Rales. He just joined. He's a bajillionaire.
Yes.
And Magic Johnson. They're all in the group trying to buy the team. That's the one that I would say probably has the best chance of making it happen. Tillman Fertitta, the owner of the Rockets, is also in.
He's in the Josh Harris group, right?
No.
Oh, he's
no, there's three separate groups.
Oh, okay.
Apostolopoulos here, and Tillman Fertitta and Josh Harris is three different groups.
Where have I been? I had not heard that Tillman was in the hunt for the.
Tillman's talked about it from the beginning. He's also got more money than whatever the biggest number you think a person could be worth. That's probably what Tillman Fertitta's worth.
Okay, all right.
He's one of the only NBA owners that's just printing money.
Mm-hmm.
Because for some reason Houston shows up in spite of the fact that team is awful.
Well, when you can own an NFL franchise, you're going to be able to print even more money because regardless of who you've bought, they're worth billions.
We have one of these on our way out as we have just but a minute left here in the program.
I'm your huckleberry.
Gage Camplin asks, why hasn't the Rodgers trade happened? How far are they at this point? Neither one of them has any – there's no gumption to try to push this along. The Jets now have the trade capital. I would argue that's why they made the Elijah Moore deal today. Okay, how greedy you want to be? How greedy do you want to be? It's totally up to you.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, this could go all the way to the draft. That's basically the deadline. There's no off-season programs, no anything like that until after the draft. So, I don't necessarily – I mean, I feel like it's going to happen pretty soon, but there's not really a driving force to either of these entities to make it happen.
Right. All right. We will keep you up to date on all of it right here in the Sportsocracy, trade frenzy, free agency, and, of course, all of the Draftmas content that you can handle.
I wish you a Merry Draftmas. I wish you a Merry Draftmas.
We've got 3-round mock drafts team by team going out in the next few days on the YouTube channel. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. That'll all pop up in your little feed there just because you are a member of the Sportsocracy. And we will be back with you tomorrow at 3 here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Temperatures warming up for the end of the business week. Clouds decreasing here tonight as temperatures drop down into the middle part of the 40s. Mix of clouds and sunshine for us on Thursday. It'll be breezy and warmer. Middle to upper 70s tomorrow afternoon. Mix of clouds and sunshine Friday as temperatures top out around 80 in the afternoon. Chance of rain again Friday night into early Saturday. High Saturday, low 70s. Partly cloudy 70 for Sunday. I'm meteorologist Ken Boone at the Weather Channel.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
The left lane is blocked due to an accident, and traffic is stopped on 26 westbound between NC 280 and NC 146. Heavy traffic on 26 eastbound between 191 and 146. The shoulder is blocked due to an accident on 240 westbound at Haywood Street. 40 westbound is backed up between 209 and 276. Slow traffic on 240 westbound between Chuns Cove Road and Haywood Street. And the right lane is blocked due to an accident on 25 southbound between I-40 and Rock Hill Lane. I'm Elena Vegso with your time saver traffic.
This report is